Oh, hey, good. Hey, everybody, welcome. It is a beautiful Thursday fall morning, the 13th of November, and welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. Thank you, Chorus.
Big finish here, big finish.
Now, you folks go on down the hall and continue to practice, and meanwhile, we're going to talk to Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Dr. Sidler.
Good morning, Roger.
And we have Mike Dentino, who already has been into the donuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I pulled up in the car, and he didn't even see me. He was snarfing down donuts like he was going to the
You
electric.
sitting in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Well, you know,
It was a long trip.
it was a long trip, but I was suffering from low blood sugar.
Oh,
so I had
okay,
to,
yeah,
there you go.
I had
Yeah.
to make sure I
Convenient
support my
excuse.
glucose level.
Yeah, exactly right. You need to keep your blood sugar up. I said up.
Right. It was almost under 200.
Oh.
What's normal on that? What's
Like, I should be below 100.
oh.
Well, I know you bought half a dozen donuts. There's one left.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you got it up and then
It
some.
was really low.
Yeah. I'm not talking about your belt.
Oh, well, yeah, I do tend to suffer from a bad case of Dunlap's disease. My belly Dunlap over my belt.
You get the Nicky-Doo.
I haven't heard that before. I have seen, and good morning, Terry.
Oh,
Crowley.
good morning.
I have seen people whose bellies were, I don't know, I want to be kind, extensive.
Yeah.
And,
Copious.
And I don't know, and the belt is under it. How come they put the belt under their belly instead of, you're a doctor.
You're a doctor.
I think we may need a tailor for this
I
question.
didn't study beltology.
I
boy.
could never understand when, well, it's so okay, you've got a
I mean,
belly.
their belt doesn't reach far enough
Yeah.
if they try to go higher up.
That's
the
my
answer.
problem.
I mean, some guys have the belt so low, I think it's a hernia belt. I mean, it's normally, do you put your belt under your stomach or do you put it across?
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I don't.
No. Well, now
You put it on your
we're all
waist.
waiting for Mike's response.
I mean, you put it up.
Well-
You don't put it up as high as your navel.
Well, for one thing, it's. I don't know that I could afford a belt that would go over my belly.
That's a lot of material.
I mean, that would require the sacrifice of several cows.
yeah, you would have to go to a leather shop.
Pure tent awnings still
Yeah.
open?
No, they're not open anymore.
Well, you know, back in the old days when you had these huge long belts so they could attach their threshing machine to the tractor wheel. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Wow.
Oh,
you're
really?
not that big.
Describe that again. What did you say about belts that attach to the wheel of the thrasher?
Threshing machine. You know, back in the old days when you had tractors running belts off their power takeoff
I
to
see
a
what, yeah.
machine.
Okay.
Some of these belts were like 20, 30 feet long. I mean, maybe I don't need one quite that long.
I would like to ask everybody's waist size this morning, but I know I would lose.
35.
Yeah, you're
Fits perfect.
slim and
36.
trim.
Well,
you
I
let
don't
that
know.
off
Could be.
because you're
Yeah.
proud of that. You looked over at me and said, "Well, I've got Roger Bay."
Well, you've been working on it longer than me.
Hey, I haven't been working on anything except eating, whatever comes with it. And you've always been in good shape. Many years,
He's a
I've
32.
decades.
Gene's got to be a 32.
No, I'm going to say he's
34.
36.
34.
34.
34?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I had that when I was in the Army when I weighed 162. How much you weigh?
It's probably somewhere between 175 and 180.
Yeah, see, that's good.
Yeah.
I won't ask you, Mike.
Yeah, no, well,
2.
I'm
at 2. 200.
You're 200? Well, you're what, 6'5"?
6'3".
6'3"?
Yeah,
Okay.
see, I'm
Mean
5'7",
fighting
I'm running
machine.
235.
I don't think you're running, But,
Well, no, it's rolling quickly.
rolling.
Yeah, that's
that's
kind of my theme song there.
Yeah, what was the name? Frankie Lane and
Yeah.
Rawhide or
Rawhide.
something like that. Well, we
Dunlap's disease.
the country is excited today because
Dicky-do. You heard of
the Senate
your stomach
and now the
sticks out
House
further than
and the President. I work alone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, I know you.
I didn't want everybody to hear it. That's why I did it.
Yeah, that's why you mumbled in front of a live mic. Anyway, the big news is the government is no longer shut down.
You know, do you think maybe now they can stop this round-the-clock coverage of it? I mean, really, for 35 days, or what is
Yeah,
it,
42 days.
42 days, it's been round-the-clock coverage of something that didn't change.
Yeah, well, you're right. Well, the day changed.
Well, and they voted on it 15 times, but it came out the same.
Right, and the building still hasn't moved.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it has been it will be something that Republicans can run on at midterms. They shut down the government. They had 15 proposals, was it, that the Republicans put forth, and did everything they could, massaged it, did this, did that. And I honestly believe Democrats wanted leading Democrats like Schumer, who is apparently going to get bounced. It'll be interesting who's going to take his place, because he's out of there. The radical element of the Democrat Party doesn't like him. They want their person in there. And if they had their person there, I think there wouldn't have been the 8 defection. I was surprised that Dick Durbin joined 7 other Democrats.
I don't know
I
what
was
he
really
got.
surprised.
He got a big
something.
retirement gift or
Yeah,
something.
he got something.
Maybe a
Because
library.
Something.
Dick Durbin never did anything without some sort of sweetener to the deal. And, the thing of it is, though, we need, this goes for both sides of the aisle, we need to shake the tree and get rid of the septuagenarian and octogenarian folks that have been there for 4 decades plus.
I don't think Bernie Sanders would agree with you.
Well, I don't know. Bernie Sanders, I at least had a modicum of respect for him as someone who spoke his mind, and damned whatever anyone else does, I'm gonna adhere to my socialistic tendencies. But after the presidential primary during 2016. Where Hillary Clinton cleared the board by I'm not sure what means, but both him and Elizabeth Warren folded their tents and wobbled out of the picture without so much as a how to do. So I lost a lot of respect for both of them.
I agree with you. He calls himself an independent, but he votes 100%
right
with Chuck Schumer and the Democrats.
Right.
He's a phony.
He's a Democrat. Why doesn't he just call himself a Democrat? But he tries to pretend he's an independent.
Right. There was a time where I think he was an independent.
Yes.
But now with his several houses and his, I'm sure,
His wife got
burgeoning.
sweet.
He's a rich
Got
guy.
it.
Yeah, he's a rich guy. He's no longer a socialist. He's a freaking communist because he's got his.
He's got half
his
a dozen vacation
Yeah,
homes
he's got
or
his
whatever.
DACA down on the
Well,
Black Sea.
2016 when he stepped aside
Yeah.
and let Hillary run. Yes.
Yeah, that was his payoff. Well, since we're talking about the news, let's get into the news and bring you up to date, if you don't mind. On this program, we have talked about the devastation that takes place emotionally in families when they lose a pet. And we also talk about, well, that's the time to turn to the caring people at Peoria Pet Crematory, because they're available 24/7 to help you through the grieving process, and they offer several choices for care and remembrance. I don't mind telling you, we have used them. They're wonderful, wonderful people. Peoria Pet Crematory, here's their phone number, 309-713-1898. And let's start with the weather.
Wow, Roger, beautiful day today. Sunny and pleasant. Today, high about 61. Tonight, clear and 44. Tomorrow, sunny and warm, high 70. This is going to be absolutely incredible these next couple of days. Saturday sunny and windy, high 71. Right now, it's only 36. It's not bad. I'm excited about it because
Yes, I am, because
gonna
you
get
know it's
warm.
going to warm up.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
You know, more people are turning to home health care for loved ones, and more people are choosing Spoon River Home Health. Their staff, professional, personally been around taking care of people for over 30 years, and they can take care of your loved one. Their phone number at Spoon River, 309-245-0723. And now the news.
Thank you, Roger. Over the objection of Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history, a shutdown that lasted 43 days, thanks to the Democrats, who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill.
The 2 renegade Republicans who balked at reopening of the government were Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time. Earlier, the Senate passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40 after Republicans agreed to revisit the Democrats' demand for extending the subsidies for the Obama Affordable Care Subsidies in December or maybe January.
In more political news, congressional Democrats released some Epstein files showing conversations between Donald Trump and the infamous Jeffrey Epstein.
Conversations.
Yes, I've got some smelling salts here, so in case you get the vapors.
Oh, conversations.
The White House deflected the effort to smear the president, noting that one woman who lived on the resort island owned by Epstein said she never saw or heard Trump involved in any wrongdoing.
In turn, Republicans released information about collusion between reporters and Epstein. Case in point, writer-columnist Michael Wolff urged Epstein to publicly attack Trump as a way of diverting attention away from his accusers. Epstein, who committed suicide, was charged with sex trafficking of minors. Many big names have also been associated with Epstein, including Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Al Gore, Woody Allen. Let me see. Nope, nobody present. Okay. So,
I was never in New York during that period
Terry
of time.
Grau.
Yeah.
never.
One of the big races next year is for governor of the state of California. Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices, saying gas is selling in California today for more than $5 a gallon and is expected to go higher next year. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting gas in the state will rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon.
Wow. They had a climate change conference in Brazil, and the only American leader to attend, we actually call him an American leader, was California Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom flew to the event in a big private jet to condemn President Trump for not participating in talks about global carbon transmissions, coming primarily from airplanes.
Yeah.
Newsom said the United States is dumb about climate control. California, they're not.
Nothing says I believe in anthropomorphic warming than flying in a private jet.
Flying in a private jet.
Yes, indeed. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment in the Lexington Hills complex last February has accepted a plea agreement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to 1 count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pleaded guilty earlier this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison.
Hey, Peoria, let me start
was
that
that?
again. Wow.
Cut 2.
Wow. Take 2. Peoria School District board members this week honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for her quick action rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response under pressure, alerting medical personnel for transport of the student to a local hospital for treatment. So congratulations, Carnisha.
There you go. They had a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street for the new Adams Street Center, owned by Baldovan Development Group. The project includes a newly renovated set of apartments and commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. Located near the Peoria Chiefs Field, it's part of the warehouse.
Hey, I know that building.
I'll bet you do, don't you? It's, what, half a block from the Chiefs field?
Yeah, well, yeah, about
Yeah.
half a block. That was the Growy building.
That was?
Yeah, this was, yeah, that was Grandpa Growy's building.
Wow, 1914.
Mm-hmm.
I assume as a child you were in that building? Or
I
another
was
one?
in
What
the
was
building.
in it?
They had Peoria Auto
Like
Parts.
The bowling alley upstairs.
Peoria Auto Parts
wasn't it?
Bowling.
Yeah.
Peoria Auto Parts Bowling and Recreation or something. But,
Yeah.
And across the street was Growy Glass. That was another relative. but
Wasn't
that's
Federal
not-
Warehouse somewhere in
Right
that
ac-
neighborhood?
well,
Weren't
right
they
across the
on the
street.
corner? were
Caddy
they?
corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they were on the next corner, and then this was on Adams and Oak or Elm. Elm, I think. Yeah, I was in that building a
The
lot.
neighborhood, they're working on updating the neighborhood. When I was there earlier this week, as a matter of fact, I stopped to drop something off. And I tell you what, there were a lot of people walking in and out of that coffee shop on the corner.
Zion, yeah.
Yeah, Zion.
Yeah, he's done a very good job
Yeah.
down there.
You bet.
Yeah.
All right. We have more news from our friends at WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Ben Howell. Central Illinois Congressman Eric Sorensen says he will not support the funding bill that would end the longest government shutdown in history. Sorensen is a Democrat who represents parts of the Peoria area. He says, quote, cannot in good faith support a funding bill that doesn't make the lives of my neighbors more affordable as they struggle with the high cost of Trump's tariffs. Democrats have demanded Republicans address the expected rise in healthcare costs from the scheduled end of Obamacare subsidies. The shutdown has cut food assistance benefits to about 2 million Illinoisans. A state lawmaker who helped shape healthcare funding in Illinois says the federal government shutdown has placed significant burdens on families. Anna Moeller chairs the House Budget Committee that oversees funding for health and human services. Moeller, a Democrat from Elgin, tells Capital News Illinois the state is doing the best it can to protect its most vulnerable.
We don't have the resources at the state level to fully make up for the loss of federal funds.
Mueller says the $20 million the governor has approved for food pantries during the shutdown won't be near enough. Mueller says the state can't dip far into cash reserves to cover emergencies, with 3 more years of the Trump administration left. Republican Darren Bailey says he's moving forward with his campaign for governor. Capital News Illinois reports Bailey's candidacy was in doubt after his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren were killed in a helicopter crash in Montana last month. But Bailey says in a video posted to his social media that he will proceed after a lot of prayer and reflection and encouragement from President Donald Trump. Bailey was the party's nominee in 2022. He lost to incumbent Democrat J.B. Pritzker. The primary election is March 17th. And Bradley University has removed the interim tag from Dan Moon's title as Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Moon was hired after a national search. He has served in the provost role on an interim basis since last year. Moon came to Bradley in 2022 as the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Prior to that, Moon spent 17 years as an administrator at the University of North Florida. I'm Ben Howell.
Time for sports with all the latest brought to you by BradleyFans.com. A morose and saddened and dejected sports guy this morning, like Gene Siddle. You were there. Bad game for Bradley Braves.
You're going to make me do this?
Buck up.
Yes, I know. It's
Gene.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bradley game was not what we all were hoping for. They played a actually very good team from University of Tennessee, Martin. Martin's a city in the western part of Tennessee, and they're in the Ohio Valley Conference. Usually they're kind of also rans in that conference, but this year they've got a totally reloaded roster. 13 international players.
13?
13
Out of
from
what, 14
from
players?
Europe and Africa. They have actually 16 on their roster, but 3 of them were in street clothes, so I don't know if they're redshirting or just injured or something like that. But yeah, 13 of the 16 players injured from Europe and Africa, and they were good. Well, there might have been
Were
one.
they better than Bradley on paper? Or
Well, they
did
had
Bradley
specific
just have a
skills
bad
that Bradley have
night?
not really shown to be the best in, and that is the three-point shooting, the passing, the ball handling.
That's
Bradley's got a
basketball,
little
right?
work
You're
to do.
talking about
Well, those are pretty important, yeah.
were they physical? Were they a lot more
Not
physical?
so much
Oh, really?
physical. No, they got a lot of their points just by movement and passing and getting open and three-point shots. They were outstanding from the outside, where Bradley had their worst night in maybe a couple
what were
of
they
years.
in the first half? 1 for 10.
They were 1 for 10 in the first half and
Wow.
3 for 20 overall.
for
That's only
20.
15%
Oh,
from.
my.
Yeah, usually you want to shoot in the mid 30s or higher to be worth taking those 3-point shots, and to shoot 15%. Yeah, that just hurt them.
That
Really
was,
killed them.
yeah. You know what they did? Were they not taking Gatorade or something?
Yeah, you just gotta wonder. I mean, they had open shots. It wasn't.
just couldn't make 'em.
Just weren't going in. So they lose. They lost to UT Martin Skyhawks 78-67. They hung close for most of the game, and then late in the game, UT Martin pulled away to that double-digit lead, and Bradley just could not cut into it because, with only a few minutes to go, you got to start taking some shots, three-pointers, and they just, again, were not falling for them. Poor shooting is what doomed the Braves. They were just 3 of 20 on the three-point shots, as we mentioned, and 17 of 51 overall. That's only 33% overall, and again, when you're going to win a game, you got to shoot in the 40s at least, maybe, and preferably high 40s and 50% range, which is what UT Martin did. And to go on the road and shoot 51%, that was what they shot. That's really remarkable. So they were a very good shooting team. As I mentioned, 13 of their players from European and African countries, really skilled and talented players. Their previous game, they beat a good UNLV team out in Las Vegas. And that's pretty impressive as well. So, anyway, Bradley drops to 1-2 on the season. Attendance was 5,096. Kind of what you'd expect for a Wednesday midweek game. Not as nice, almost 6,000 on Saturday, the last game that they played. But that still leads the Missouri Valley. Remember the days when Bradley averaged 9,000 and 10,000, and there were quite a few years they averaged over 10,000. Those days are gone. People can watch it on streaming, and there's so many other things they can stay home and watch on TV and do. And as you recall, that a lot of the Bradley faithful were older and have moved to the villages and watch it on streaming, and they just don't come back for games as much. They've done a decent job of drawing in younger fans, but
well, they miss the students for one thing.
yeah, there's virtually no students there. And as I say, it's just basketball, live sporting events in general are not something that young people seem to be that excited about
Interested in,
attending.
yeah.
No.
I will tell you one thing that will bring people to the games, and it's called winning. And if you have a team that
Being on
is,
TV will do too, yeah.
eight, well, that's true.
If they can make it on one of the ESPN broadcast stations, that always boosts the attendance a lot. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Normally you think it wouldn't, but people want to see the camera. They want to be on camera. And that'll bring the students
wanna
out,
dress
too.
up and go goofy.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
They make complete fools out of themselves, but
Yes.
they'll be on TV.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Look, Mom, how I'm spending all your money here. Anyway, Bradley's next game is Saturday night at University of San Francisco. That's the alma mater
that's a big travel.
of Bill Russell, famous NBA player, Hall of Famer. Passed away
Are
here.
you traveling to that game, Gene?
No, we
That's
decided
just
not to
fine.
go. We considered
that's a
going
ways.
out to San Francisco, but we're going to the Bradley games. They play 3 games down in Orlando the following week, starting that following weekend before Thanksgiving, and so we'll be going down there.
Okay.
And yeah, that was just a little too much.
Yeah.
So Bradley's next
big
game
haul.
at San Francisco. That's a 9 o'clock Central Time game on Saturday night. You can check BradleyFans.com for more information there. It was a doubleheader last night. The Bradley women played early before the men, and they had better luck. They played DePaul. DePaul, usually a pretty good team from the Big East Conference, but Bradley led virtually the entire way and pulled away to a 78-64 win. So good for the
that was a
Bradley
big
women.
win.
They're 2-0 to start their season. Their next game is Saturday, also on the road in Indianapolis against IU Indianapolis. That's the school that used to be called IUPUI.
Yeah, didn't they call it
Ooey Pooey.
IU
IUPUI. They kind of
They had a lot of
nicknamed
movement.
it Ooey Pooey. but it's now called IU Indianapolis, IU Indy for short. But that's a winnable game for the girls, and they are playing much better
You
than they
were
have.
saying that
Yeah.
with the addition of Coach Wardle's daughter.
Coach Wardle's daughter, Maya, plays point guard, and she doesn't score a lot, although she's capable of making shots and scoring. I think she had 9 points and 7 assists.
Wow.
But she runs the offense, and they are so much better. Yeah. So good for the women, not so good for the men, but they'll bounce back.
How many people would you say were there for that game?
Oh, actually,
1,000, 2,000?
Yeah, I wonder if they actually have a different number listed on the women's.
Did you count?
No, I didn't. Let's see if well, I can find that later here.
Okay,
but
yes.
the women's box score shows no, it doesn't show an attendance. So they just combined it with the men's. But I would say there were probably maybe 1,500 people there early for the women's game, and
Good for
they
them.
only average about 600 in the Renaissance
At the
Coliseum.
Renaissance, yeah.
Anyway, moving on at the NFL, Thursday Night Football tonight is the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. That should be a one-sided game. The Jets are a terrible team, 2-7. Patriots with one of the best records at 8-2. New England is an 11.5-point favorite. It's on Prime Video at 7:15. The Bears, they play Sunday. They're 6-3, won 6 of their last 7, and they are at the Minnesota Vikings on
that'll be a
Sunday,
good game.
noon game on Fox.
That's winnable.
It's winnable. Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorite in that game.
Oh.
Although the Bears have a better record, they're 4-5, and the Bears are 6-3. But yeah, the Vikings capable of winning, but I'm hopeful the Bears can pull that one out as well. College football this weekend. Illinois is at home Saturday against Maryland. That's a 2:30 p.m. game on Saturday. FS1 is the network, and Notre Dame is 7-2 with a 7-game winning streak. They moved up one spot in the college football playoff rankings to number 9, and they are at Pittsburgh, a road game, a rare road game for Notre Dame.
Yeah, they play a lot of home games, don't they?
Yes, they do. Usually about all but maybe 2 of their games they'll play at home, and maybe just to show that they're benevolent, they'll go on the road for 1 or 2. That's an 11 a.m. game Saturday on ABC. High school football this weekend. You still got a couple of good teams in the playoffs, in the Elite 8, in the quarterfinals of the state playoffs, both in Class 5A. Washington and Peoria High both still alive. Washington plays at New Lenox Providence. That'll be a really tough
place to
That's
win.
a private school up close to Joliet. They're just east of Joliet in New Lenox, Illinois. And they have been down to the state playoffs almost every year. That's a 1 p.m. Saturday game for the Washington boys. And then for the Peoria boys, they play at Oak Forest High School.
Is that anywhere near Lansing?
Yeah, it's not
Your
far
hometown?
away. It's a southwestern suburb of Chicago.
Public school?
Public school, yes. High school in Oak Forest, Illinois, and that's 3 p.m. We also have El Paso, Gridley, and Farmington playing each other in the 2A quarterfinals at 5 p.m. Saturday.
Go Farmers.
You're for the Farmers there?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, both having good seasons. NHL last night, Chicago Blackhawks lost in overtime.
Ooh.
Got home just in time to listen to the end of that game. 4-3 to the New Jersey Devils. But the Blackhawks are playing much
They
better
are
this
much
year. I think
better
they're
this
8-5 even with this loss. So still a winning record. And the Bulls played last night, but they lost to the Detroit Pistons 124-113. And this week is the Major League Baseball Awards week. Monday was Rookie of the Year, American League Rookie of the Year. Nick Kurtz of the Oakland A's, first baseman, had an absolutely terrific year. 290 batting average, 36 homers, and 86 RBIs. He was a unanimous pick for Rookie of the Year in the American League. Drake Baldwin, the catcher for Atlanta Braves, having a good year as a rookie as well, was Rookie of the Year in National League. Tuesday was Managers of the Year, and they were both repeat from last year. American League Stephen Vogt of the Cleveland Guardians, and National League Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers. And then yesterday, the Cy Young Award winners were named. Both of them repeats again. Well, no, just one of them. Tarek Skubal in the American League repeated from last year, Detroit Tigers left-hander. And in the National League was Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Terrific year. He was a unanimous pick in the National League. He was Rookie of the Year last year. This year he's
the real
Cy
thing
Young.
then.
Yeah, he's the real thing. Today is the final day of these award announcements, and it will be the most valuable player later this afternoon.
Any predictions, Senator?
Most valuable
Most
player.
valuable
I should
player.
have thought about that before I came
I
in.
think the guy from Seattle, the catcher, I think he might be the MVP.
Yeah, the home run leader. Maybe. I'm sure you'll get some votes for Ohtani for the Dodgers
I think
internationally.
he had a bad playoff over.
Yes, but you know the vote is taken before the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
thanks for correcting me.
But we'll see, and we'll have that report tomorrow. That's
Okay.
it.
That's it. Well, the time couldn't be better. It is 6:30. Time for the news as we update everything. I don't know what we're going to update. And a check of the news this morning brought to you by your hometown community banks, division of Morton Community Bank. Throughout Central Illinois, they're available at 46 locations to serve you. Look for the clock tower, and you'll know they have time for you. Member FDIC. Mike has the headlines. Michael?
Sure enough, Roger. Over objections from Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history, a shutdown that lasted 43 days, thanks to Democrats who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill. The 2 Republicans who opposed reopening the government were Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time. Earlier, the Senate passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40. One of the significant races next year for governor of the state of California, Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting that gas in the state will rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment at Lexington Hills Complex last February has accepted a plea agreement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to 1 count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pleaded guilty earlier this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Peoria School District Board member this week honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for her quick action rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response under pressure, alerting medical personnel for transport of the student to a local hospital for treatment.
Isn't that nice? Have you ever thought about being a school bus driver in your retirement days?
I've thought about, poking my eyes out with a stick before that.
Or other parts of your anatomy?
My hat's off to anyone
Well,
who
mine
can drive
too, you bet.
school bus children. That is definitely a thankless job.
Yeah.
When you get done being yelled at by parents who are chasing the bus trying to get their kids on, or scolding you for not being there at the right time when you go the next day, and now their kids are there and ready. No, thank you.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Not enough tea in China for me to do that.
I've seen some bus drivers in District 150 set speeding records on University. I mean, I think they are former stock car drivers. I mean, they go in and out of traffic. It is amazing. It's usually when there are no kids on board. In other words, they're on the way to the bus barn,
Right.
or to Dunkin' Donuts.
Either is a noble trip for them.
Yes, it is.
The
You're right.
last spot of the day. And finally, they had a ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street for the new Adams Street Center. Owned by Baldovan Development Group, the center includes newly renovated apartments and commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. located near Peoria Chiefs Field. It's part of the Warehouse District. And Roger, that's it for news at the bottom of the hour.
Okay, there we have it, boys and girls. News and weather at the bottom of the hour on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 and also on YouTube. You know, one thing that I never have understood, we're pretty rigid about seatbelts in cars. Even if somebody's all by themselves in the car, I don't care, get that seatbelt on. But is it not true, no seatbelts on school buses for the kids?
That is a fact,
That
and I've
has
never
me
understood
made,
it.
yeah.
There are a couple of states that do have seatbelt laws for buses, but not Illinois.
But
Yeah.
not Illinois. Well, figure that out.
Well, but it's not just school buses. I mean, city buses, L's,
That's
all
true.
sorts of public transportation.
Yeah.
Other than taxis or Ubers, you're not required to wear a seatbelt. So,
I remember the overpass. I was on Caterpillar Trail. I love calling it. Nobody calls 116 Caterpillar Trail anymore, but it's Caterpillar Trail. And the overpass is 74. State police were on the island, and when the light turned red, they would walk by the cars to see whose seatbelt was off.
Yeah.
Yes. And it worked. I mean, they were writing tickets out like they were
Yeah.
coupons for Nina Hardware.
yeah, it's definitely a revenue generating idea, but and the thing of it is, I've been wearing a seatbelt so long.
You still have it on.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to get out of my car several times and found out that I couldn't because I hadn't unbuckled my seatbelt.
Yeah.
And it's a habit I instilled in my kids, and I don't understand. I mean, I know the reason. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Oh, it's this. I don't want to be stuck in the car in case I fly off the
Yeah.
bridge into the river or it catches fire. Fine, but I understand that's your reasoning, but it doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
Yeah. How about helmet? You for against
Oh, yeah,
the
well,
wearing of
it
helmets?
would-
There's no law, right?
In Illinois, there's no law, but see, I oppose helmet laws, but I wear a helmet. Because for me, the idea of a helmet law, if you're required to wear a helmet, it creates a market for a $20 helmet. And a $20 helmet is decoration. I mean, it gives them something to scoop the rest of your body into after you have a wreck.
But that's pretty descriptive,
it is.
Senator. But you
the
make your
fact is,
point.
a terrible helmet is worse than no helmet, in my opinion. And, if you have to buy one because the law says you do, people will buy the cheapest helmet out there. But, to each his own. It's definitely a Darwin Award factor,
Interesting.
whether you wear a helmet or not.
Kind of circling back to the bus.
Yes.
But did you guys know, you got a yellow bus and there's two black stripes down the side of a bus. Do you know what those are for?
I have no idea.
The top one is the height of the seats in the bus. The bottom one is where the floor of the bus is.
Really?
Yeah.
And what purpose does that serve?
Well, in a wreck or in a fire or something, they know where the seats are in the bus from looking at the outside, and they know where the floor of the bus is. I don't know. I don't know if it's a law, but they're all like
so
that.
in an accident, when they arrive, they get out of the police cars and the AMT people, and they say, the wheels on the bus go round and round, and
part of the deal, too.
and their feet are right here, and the other guy says,
Well, they should
yeah.
paint the doors red so they know where the doors are then.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it, and I don't know if it's
Not
a
a
law,
bad-
but
not a bad
all
idea.
buses are like that. That's
Yeah,
what that black stripe is there.
Do they have potty
Huh?
restrooms on the buses?
I don't. Not on
those.
school buses. No.
Okay.
The transit place.
Well, yeah, there you go. I guess I never noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed the black
There's all
stripes.
your lines there.
You know,
that's where the seats are, and that's where.
You're a walking cornucopia of
I
information.
don't know why. Well,
This is why people
you
need
had to
to
know
watch
that.
and listen to this program because you never know what's going to come out of the mouths of the
just
hosts on
amazing
this
what we
program.
can
It is.
learn.
By the way, we have a couple of special guests. Matt Wall is going to come in and
great.
and announce audits on all four of us. And and Dick Crain from Jacksonville, Florida, has arrived in Peoria and is going to come over and join us
fantastic.
this morning. He has a speaking engagement tonight.
Oh, great.
And said, I'd
We
like to
don't
come.
have a runway, though.
No, and there was a reason for that.
Oh,
We don't have a plane.
well, but I just thought maybe he might be bringing
might have a
his
plane.
Southwest Airbus.
Have you ever flown on Southwest? I know you do a lot of flying.
Yeah, you got to drive
Isn't
up to
that the
Midway.
premier-
Midway is a big hub for
for,
Southwest.
aren't they one of the premier high-ranking consumer satisfaction airline,
I would guess so. I don't
I've heard
really
that.
know that I've read that, but
particularly from Dick?
they're a lower they're a lower cost airline. They do tend to run
They
on
are?
time, and they
Okay.
didn't used to charge for baggage. Now they
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
I think
wow.
they just started
Well,
doing
they
it. They're like the
Just
last airline.
recently?
Yeah, just
Oh,
this
wow.
past year, I think. They were like the last airline to actually charge for bags. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, I want to tell our listeners and viewers this morning how impressed I am with the three of you. All three of you are very masculine guys. I mean, you follow sports. You are, well, you're kind of a oddball out, but nonetheless, you fit into the category of masculinity.
Well, thank you.
I was impressed
tell my wife
with
that,
the
will you?
fact that, yeah, I'm not going to tell your wife anything. At any rate, I was impressed when we came in this morning, ladies and gentlemen. These three people were not talking about Bradley basketball or the Bears or in the locker room or what brand to wear for a jock support. They were talking about the Northern Lights. And that was so romantic.
it was pretty.
That the three
And
of
I've
you
always
were
had an
talk-
interest in astronomy
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
Well, you were.
One of my first books was
that you
astronomy.
wrote?
No,
that you brought home?
astronomy book. I
Well, okay. So I can say.
at a school book fair.
How about you, Mike? What was your interest in the Northern Lights, sweetheart?
It was keeping me up. I had to close the curtain.
Okay.
You see, he's out in the middle of nowhere. He could walk outside and
And
see
see
it.
it right away. But you and your wife, you said, honey, let's go look at the
that's
Northern
complete-
Lights.
No, that's a lie. No, that is a total lie. I was comfortable watching the TV. I was watching a movie, and her sister sent her a picture of the Northern Lights, and she said, "Let's go look at them." I said, "There'll be a
you
10-minute
didn't
video
go out
tomorrow on YouTube."
But you didn't go out in the backyard.
No.
You got in the car
had to
and went to
drive-
the highest place to view the lights and hold hands.
We
and-
had, no, well, we didn't do
and
that.
repeat your
because I was
vows.
ticked. We had to drive all the way up 40, not quite to Tanner's, but about halfway between.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
You know where Tanner's is?
I do.
You
I
drove
did.
all the way to
That's a
past
It was about
Edelstein.
halfway to Tanner's,
That's
between
a-
Cedar Hills Drive and Tanner's. We
That's
were
a
about halfway.
suburb of Chicago.
No,
No,
that's not quite.
but I drove down. I drove down one road, and there must have been, a little country road there. I don't remember which, Hicks Hollow or one of them. I can't remember which one. And there must have been, I don't know, 20, 30 cars.
Well, that's where people go to neck.
No, they were looking at these damn lights that every
No kid.
There's 1,000 of them on the internet the next day.
Yeah, but it's
But I know you, but just saw them.
just
So
a
what?
video. It's something you got to see in person. There's people
Well-
who make trips to northern Canada
I know, I
just
think
to
they're
look
nuts.
at the northern lights.
I know. I think they're crazy. I mean, because with today you can see them everywhere all
but
the
you
time.
never
and-
see them in Peoria.
Now, wait a minute.
Well,
let's
what's the
put
difference?
Let's
It's-
put things into perspective.
Yeah.
Are you more awed by the Northern Lights than you were when you saw the lights of Las Vegas?
I can't say that I was, but I've seen Las Vegas many
Yeah.
times.
Isn't
I
it
have never
beautiful?
seen the northern lights like we saw last
Well,
night and the
you
night
never
before.
saw a picture of them? Well, yeah, but
But you
not
stop
in
bringing
person.
up pictures. You can
Yeah.
see
But
anything if you want to look
Yeah.
at pictures.
That's why it's easy.
I mean, the magazines you buy have lots of pictures.
And I read the articles. I
And you read the
get them
article.
just for the
That's,
articles.
that's what you tell your wife. I know. We'll go with it.
But there is something about looking into God's
celestial,
sky and
uh,
seeing the magic of the northern lights.
Yes, you
Now,
don't. You just don't see them here.
all right, now because you're
Illinois.
into astrology and you said your first
Astronomy. I'm not into astronomy.
Is there a difference?
One's a scientist,
Yeah.
one's ooga booga booga.
okay, astronomy, and do you still have that first book on your library?
I don't have that original
Okay.
little paperback astronomy book, but
Well, then you can probably
studied
explain.
astronomy.
All right, what causes the northern lights?
I can tell you that.
There you go.
It's radiation from the sun, the photons from the sun hitting the ionosphere in just the right angle, and of course storms and atmospheric changes here on the Earth's surface affect how that happens, so that will cause the northern lights to change. And you'll see, you can watch them and you can see them change. They'll change colors, they'll change shapes.
There's
Really?
a hole. Isn't there a hole someplace or something?
Well, there used to be a hole in what's called the Van Allen belt. That's the
Right.
highest level of the ionosphere, and
That healed
and
up?
That's closed up. Yeah, that healed up. Remember,
really?
remember they were blaming it on Freon
Right,
and
we
other.
stopped using aerosols.
Yes, and aerosols.
All right.
And,
Outdoor came along.
and it healed up even before they banned them all.
I thought that's what caused all northern lights. No? I thought there's still a hole that sometimes
No.
it gets through. No?
Well,
no,
no. Okay.
no,
Put that in
Northern
your
Lights have
head.
been happening forever.
Well,
Yeah.
I know they have, but I thought there had to be a hole for it to come.
No.
to come
No,
through.
no, it's
No,
just
it's separate from that.
it's an ionization in the upper part of the
See,
stratosphere.
that's one of the reasons your wife wanted you to go watch the Northern Lights, because you had these misconceptions.
I would have stayed home and researched it. I would
No,
much
you were
rather have done
watching the
that.
movie.
I was watching a movie, but I went. I mean, I'm a good guy.
Yeah, you're a
sure
good
I'll
husband,
go.
yeah.
It was cheaper than going to divorce court.
Hey,
Now, how
I
long?
figured out what half was a long time ago.
How long does the Northern Lights last? They were last night and the night before,
Well,
were
for
they
the-
not?
Here, yeah, they're predicting that they'll kind of fade out here, and maybe
How
not,
about
not
tonight?
even be,
Can I watch it
Probably
tonight?
not visible tonight. No.
Right.
Well, now you tell me.
But if you went north, I mean, I saw an image on the internet that showed where they might be visible tonight, and they could be visible
Where,
as
Minneapolis?
far south as maybe the northern border of Illinois and
You think
southern
I'm going to drive
Wisconsin.
down there to watch?
But yeah, not all the way down here. And yeah, most commonly you'll see these only if you get well up into Canada or into Alaska. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going
Well, I'm
there.
glad I saw him. I can brag now that I saw him.
Yeah,
I
were
guess.
you impressed?
Oh boy.
Did you
Yeah.
take a picture
Well,
so
yeah, I took
you could look
pictures.
at pictures
well,
next year?
Here's what's weird, and maybe you can explain this. You could see them better through your phone camera than you can with the naked eye. They're brighter. It's easier to see them.
Right.
What's the difference
I don't know
between
why
your
that.
eye-
I don't know. I don't.
What's the difference between your
Doctor,
eye?
you didn't do any ophthalmology then.
No, I think the phone cameras just have more sensitivity to certain wavelengths
The color, yeah.
that are not even visible to the human eye, and maybe that somehow enhances the colors at night.
Especially if the
Because I
eye.
could see a little haze of red, but when I looked through my camera, my phone, I could see a deeper red and some more greens.
Well, we didn't see any green, and maybe if we'd have stayed out there and watched longer, we might have, because others have described that it changed from red to a little bit more green. But what we saw was really a very bright red.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that was Tuesday night.
And you
We-
saw it from your house, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
I
you didn't have
walked
to-
out. I could see it from
Would
my
you, now,
back.
would you have gotten in a
deck.
car and driven several miles? And
I would have
out the
driven a few
cornfield?
miles.
Oh,
if
yeah,
I knew I
he's
could
got
see
in the
it
car
better.
and driven down to southern Illinois for.
Yeah, I went to two
If you were on the couch
two
watching a
eclipses
movie.
in 17 and 24.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that was.
You drove. Oh, you did the thing when they
Yeah.
had the eclipse?
We went
the
to
Dutch
Southern Illinois
champagne?
for the eclipse, and then we did it a few years earlier when there was one down there as well. I remember Carbondale was kind of like the epicenter for
Yeah.
like 3 different eclipses that crisscrossed Southern Illinois.
I was down in Southern Illinois when that eclipse happened during the day. About 3 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one was, I think, 2024. It was August of 2024.
This
so
was a
that
total
year
eclipse
ago.
of the sun.
Total eclipse.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody should write a song like that.
We have an
I
astrologer
would
on the
sing it
line.
for
Good
you.
morning. You're on Breakfast with Roger and Friends.
Good morning, breakfast with friends.
Hey, Captain.
It's Captain Parker, Officer Friendly. Good morning.
I was seeing some pictures that a good friend of mine sent me. He sent me some pictures. They're amazing, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of creepy and cool at the same time. It almost reminds you of the Twilight Zone. You have just entered the Twilight Zone.
Why didn't you go look? Why didn't you get in the car and go look?
Ooh, that's neat.
Because black people don't get into the stars and moons no more, dog. Did you know that? We already been there and done that. We done. I was in the '60s. We went there and came back like, yeah, I'm
So
cool.
none of you are astronomers.
Cool.
Okay.
Nah, we cool. No, I'm teasing. I have a telescope and all of those stuff. I literally got off work late and I forgot yesterday night to check it because someone told me that like Dr. Siller said, if you look north, and I'm like, okay, I'm in East Peoria, so north is way the other direction.
Right. Well, Gene saw it from East Peoria, didn't you, Gene? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and like I said, I got off kind of late, and I was ready to go to bed. I wanted to see the back of my eyelids. I didn't care about seeing the cool lights in the sky.
Well, it's cool.
But I seen what's that thing called a Borealis or whatever? I seen that in Alaska for real though. Yeah, I saw that for real. That is a whole nother level of creepy, boy. I'm telling you, it's cool and scary at the same time. Because you just look like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What's going on with all the lights and the stars and quasars and all that other stuff? So, but I got some pictures, Uncle Roger. I've seen you. That's pretty unique.
That's good. So, anything exciting?
It has one with the American flag right there, and then you can see the lights behind. It's really sweet.
Now you speak for the black community. Do you?
You
said earlier.
I'm the king of the black people now.
There you
yes,
go.
I am the king of the brown people.
Do you believe in aliens?
Come on, man. Now, you know you can't talk about that stuff over there. You trying to get me canceled, dude.
Yeah. Gene, do you believe?
No, I think he's talking about aliens, like illegal aliens.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean little spacemen.
No, of course.
Oh,
there's not
well,
a shred of evidence that is
Okay.
that strong
All right.
to believe in that.
They just said they got some files they for to release, Dr. Siller. You might get a surprise, buddy.
No, I'll believe it when I see something that is hard evidence, but I can't believe that aliens would travel billions of miles,
see us.
thousands and thousands of light years
Unless they're coming here to see our
to
show.
come here and just spook us and then head home. Come on.
Coming down to meet Epstein.
No, they don't spook us. They anally probe us, according to every report that we
I think about anal probing.
so
That's it.
I think it's because
I've had patients who claim to have been probed, but
Jesus.
Just a prostate exam.
I'm gonna keep it PC. I was gonna say something, but my comic mind went somewhere where it didn't. But
I'm glad you saved yourself and us too.
Yeah, so Uncle Terry, this is the thing. I do understand that the universe is very vast and all that other stuff, and and just like anybody else, curiosity kills the cat. I'm very curious of what is there besides us, and I done studied a lot of stuff when I was in school. I'm joking about the black people don't like star stuff. I was always a big sci-fi fan and all that, so I have a vivid imagination, and like I said, without saying anything to incriminate myself on air, you would think that just because we're here and there's life on this planet, that it definitely has to be something else. And all the studies that they done show so far, researching on some of the planets that they have, there is a possibility of other life forms. But like Dr. Siller said, why would an interstellar traveler that's like way more advanced than us come here, look at us, and not say, hey, what's up, how y'all doing? Y'all want to come kick it with us? You would think over all the time and years and the things that occurred that they would come down and lend us a hand. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. They probably say, yeah, y'all too backwards. We're not going to mess with you, Jack.
Well, you make a lot of sense. Ed, really, you make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I am a big sci-fi person, so I mean, I don't, it would be unique, definitely. I don't think they look the way they say they look. I think big old eyes and heads and no mouths and all that other stuff. It's probably us from the future checking on us to see how far we're going to come along, and then say, yep, they're still not ready. That's why they take off.
Then they leave. I noticed a lot of the pictures of alleged aliens, people from outer space, they're all bald. What do you
Yep.
think? So
But they at least have the
There's just
same
no
barber
reason
out
for
there,
it
so
anymore, I
maybe
guess.
they
yeah,
might
no
think
hair.
we're
They
part
got-
of them.
Not just bald, but hairless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah, you're right. Because
That's because really that's probably a suit that they got on. That's
Of course,
probably what
we
it
fit
is.
in
It's
fine
just a
with
suit.
Yeah. We're good.
well, Ed, this has
Probably a
been
suit.
very instructional, and boy, I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot from you this morning.
Y'all have a blessed day. I was just chiming in to put a little funny with the show as usual. I love you guys and miss you guys, and may the force be with you.
All right.
See you later. Ed.
Thank you, Captain.
Nanu.
Thank you, Captain.
Hey, y'all have a blessed day.
Yeah, you bet. You too, Ed Parker. Pick up your laptop. I want to try and position this, if I can, with our great technology. If you hand it, can you? Are you plugged in? Pardon the expression. Yeah.
You just took it
Let me
apart.
let me see if I can. Well, first of all,
Well,
Roger,
it actually
you gotta
showed up
get-
pretty good already on it.
Did it really?
For those of you
Yeah,
who have
that's
YouTube,
actually-
watch this
Just
on
hold it
YouTube.
up behind you there, Roger, because it's easily up. Not now.
No. There we go. That's what I want to do. Is
That's my sister's house out near Bloomington.
there's
Oh,
too
just
much glare.
you touched something wrong there, Roger.
That's the
it
story
just
of
went
my
off.
life.
Here, Michael fixed it.
Yeah.
That's something wrong.
Touch me.
Sounds like my honeymoon.
Anyway, can we say hi to our missing member of the week here, Terry Chamberlain?
Oh.
She might be watching down in beautiful St. Lucia.
I doubt it.
I think it's possible.
Well, what time
They're
we
2 hours ahead of us, so it's 9
9
o'clock
o'clock.
there now.
Oh,
So
so they're
she's
half
probably
drunk.
sitting on the beach watching it on
Half
her,
drunk by
on
now.
her phone.
Had that Bloody
right.
Mary breakfast. And
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it shows
when
up
is she
nicely.
coming back?
She'll be back
Next
on
week?
the 14th.
Isn't that a great
Oh.
picture?
Not the 14th.
That's a great picture.
Yeah.
14th's tomorrow.
That was from one of my sisters
24th.
living out by. Actually, I guess it's Towanda, not Bloomington. So
Towanda.
she lives.
Oh,
She lives
well,
out
right
in the
next
sticks.
door.
Yeah.
That was a good picture for it. Is there any connection to pets? Do pets get startled by atmospheric
Aliens?
changes and
Not
and
that I
colors
know
and
of.
so forth?
No.
Okay.
Well, obviously things like thunder and weather changes affect pets a
Yeah.
lot.
But not northern lights.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's check with
know
our
how they
pet
see.
tip of the day and find out. Louis, what do you have for us today?
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets large and small 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. When you are shopping for a new pet and have chosen to make the responsible choice of adopting from a rescue, make sure that you are going through a respectable, well-known rescue group. It is very sad to say, but there are a lot of disreputable groups or individuals playing on your sympathies. So how do you find a legitimate rescue? Check with your state's listing of ratings for 501c3 organizations. This listing will tell you how long they've been in business and what percentage of their money goes for pets versus salaries and facilities, as reported to the IRS in their latest 990. It's an impartial determination. The other thing to look for is if this site or rescue group only adopts out a certain type of animal that could be called a designer breed. These are often puppy mills masquerading as rescues. You need to research these fully. Now, that's not to say that a Schnauzer or Pit Bull rescue group is not legit. Those are specific breeds. What I'm talking about is a group that has dogs they call cute names like Bassadors or Chiweenies or Poodles mixed with some other breed, and these are the only breeds they offer. That's your red flag to check further. Being a responsible pet owner starts before you even purchase your pet. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Good morning, everybody, and a beautiful morning it is, Thursday, the 13th of November, and thank you for joining Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7 and all the fine folks on YouTube as well. Let's start with a check of the weather, and it's brought to you by certified public accountant, tax specialist Matt Waugh. He's with Gordon Stockman & Waugh. Matt will be joining us during this hour to talk about our tax returns and the IRS, so stay tuned. He's available for consultations. My goodness, over 40 years of financial experience. You can reach Matt today at 309-692-4030.
Roger, it'll be sunny and pleasant today. High about 61 tonight, clear, low 44. Tomorrow's sunny, warm, high 70. Saturday, sunny and windy, high 71. Currently, it's 30. You know what our crawl said? 35 and a half. Or 35.9.
Well, you got to follow the crawl.
Our crawl said 35.9.
You bet. They're right down to the decimal for that matter.
Right. It's
you bet.
Exact.
Hey, you know, enrollment for Medicare is taking place right now, and open enrollment until December 7th. And this is the time to give you a chance to review your plan and make changes to make sure, and it's very important, you have the best coverage. And the go-to guy is Sam Lilly. He's been around for over 40 years, and he knows Medicare insurance. You can get more information from Sam Lilly at 309-245-4374. Now with the news and our lead story, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mike Antino.
Thank you, Roger. Boy, I feel like all hoity-toity now.
I know you got goosebumps.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, over the objection of Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history, a shutdown that lasted 43 days, thanks to Democrats who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill.
The 2 renegade Republicans who balked at reopening of the government were Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time last night. Earlier, the Senate passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40 after Republicans agreed to revisit the Democrats' demand for extending the subsidies for the Obama Affordable Care Subsidies, and they'll do that in December or January.
In more political news, congressional Democrats released some Epstein files showing conversations between Donald Trump and the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. The White House deflected the effort to smear the president, noting that one woman who lived at the resort island, owned by Epstein, said that she never saw or heard Trump involved in any wrongdoing.
In turn, Republicans released information about collusion between reporters and Epstein. Case in point, writer-columnist Michael Wolff urged Epstein to publicly attack Trump as a way of diverting attention away from his accusers. Epstein, who committed suicide, was charged with sex trafficking of minors. Many big names have been associated with Epstein, including Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Al Gore, Woody Allen.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
What?
Al Gore?
Yes.
That's what it says here, Al Gore.
Yeah.
I just read what's
That's
here.
one of the names.
He was
That's one of the names
accusers.
on the documents that they released.
Okay.
That was one of the
Well,
names.
you know,
Who
he's-
knows? Who knows?
yeah, I was going to say there's
Are
names
you
going everywhere.
a fan of Al Gore? Are you kind of protective? You know, this
Yeah,
global
how's that?
I
warming.
have
was
not heard
surprised.
any allegations
Hey, that's why you listen
of
to the show.
wrongdoing by Al
Well,
Gore.
no wrongdoing. Just because he went to the island, it's a beautiful island.
Beautiful place.
I was trying
Did
to.
he go to the island?
Well, that's
Well,
according
that's
to
what
the
they're
document.
saying. I don't know.
No, he's been on his plane. Lots of people have been on. Donald
That's
Trump's
right,
been
yeah.
on his airplane,
Mhm.
but Donald Trump's never been to an island.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know.
I think people conflate that a little bit.
Well,
Okay.
who knows what's going
Well,
on?
yeah, that's right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give Al a call and see
Yeah,
what he
give
has
him
to
a phone.
say.
Yeah.
We'll find
Hey, Al.
Let me ask AI.
He's not very busy right now, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's not doing it.
Yeah. One of the big races next year is for governor of the state of California. Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices. Golfer Phil Mickelson joined the call for the drilling, saying that gas is selling in California today for more than $5 a gallon, and it's expected to go higher next year. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting gas in the state will rise in 200. I can't
Yes,
get that. I
that's
had a
easy
problem
for
getting
you to
that year out.
say.
Yeah.
Toy boat.
It'll rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon.
They had climate change conference in Brazil, and the only American leader to attend was California Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom flew to the event in a private jet to condemn President Trump for not participating in talks about global carbon transmissions coming primarily from big airplanes. Newsom said the United States is dumb about climate change. California isn't.
You know, nothing says I care about the climate more than flying in a private
you go.
jet to Brazil. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment at the Lexington Hills complex last February has accepted a plea agreement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to one count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pleaded guilty earlier this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison.
Peoria School District board members this week honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for her quick action rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response under pressure. She alerted medical personnel for transport of the
Have
student.
you been drinking?
Yeah, I wish. I just
Not
so
enough,
wish.
obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, the student was taken to a local hospital, and I think everything's fine.
Yeah, we hope so.
But good job.
Yes, congratulations
Yeah,
to her.
yeah.
What does she
You
get?
bet.
Is it a plaque? Or?
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think it's neat. You know, the other thing we were talking about driving a school bus that's so difficult. You have to be there early in the morning, and then you're off for the rest of the day, and then you go back in the
Oh,
afternoon.
the hours are weird.
And
Yeah.
is that called a split shift?
I guess you could call it
John?
I'm not sure that's exactly, but maybe. It's been a long time since I've done shift work.
Yeah.
You done what?
Shift work.
Oh, shift. Oh,
Shift.
shift. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, at third shift at Caterpillar, there was an awful lot of that going on in the upstairs bathroom.
Whoops, yeah. Don't step in it. In other news,
In other news, they had a ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street
I know that.
for the new Adams Street Center, formerly known as
The Growie.
the Growie Building. Yes.
and that's something.
Owned by Baldovan Development Group, the project includes newly renovated apartments and commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. Located near the Peoria Chiefs Field, it's part of the Warehouse District. And that's it for news, Roger.
And we were talking about the fact that it had the bowling alley on the second floor. Did you ever set pins?
No, they got rid of. Grandpa had the first automatic pin setters in the country. Put a lot of guys on work.
No kidding, yeah. Yeah.
I there for a while. If I'd run into anybody in town that was, say, 70 or 80 years or older, they set pins there.
I did.
Everybody in
I set pins, but not there.
No.
We had a bowling alley in the north end that had a concrete bar, the only concrete bar in Illinois, if not in the state.
Valley?
A concrete bar. The bar was made out of concrete, yeah.
And that's come back. That's popular now.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Very popular.
But go ahead.
At any rate, I
bowling
set
alley in the bar?
pins by hand at that bar. I think it had 4 alleys, and a good friend of mine got hit by a flying pin and limp for the rest of his life, as a matter of fact. One night is all it took for me to say, this isn't for me.
A little
Because you
noisy?
had to have, you should have gotten combat pay.
Yeah.
But what made it even worse, it was not only dangerous, but if you didn't set the pins quick enough for a bowler who was not having a good night,
Well, they get
they
mad.
would swear at you, yell at you. And as the night went on and they did more drinking, the words became longer and
yeah.
more frequent.
More
Now, the
spicy.
pin setting, did you have to set them back on the floor, or you
Yes.
set them into the...
Oh, no. We
the-
no.
the
No,
rack?
you,
On a spot on
you
the
set
floor?
them on the
wow.
Because
on the
eventually
alley.
you would have a rack, and you would just load them into the rack and lower it, and that would...
Well,
set-
that came with your
But,
generation.
Yeah, that was my
we
generation.
set them
Your
by
generation.
hand in the, and you know, you were nervous sometimes, and you would knock over 2 pins you just set up, and then the guy, the drunk at the other end, would be yelling names and so forth, and it was I think 15 cents an hour, something like that.
Oh, geez.
Terrible.
Interesting.
When you came in the back door of the auto parts, the parking was in back, and they had a big glass viewing so you could see the automatic pin setters working, which was kind of cool.
Well, that's interesting. Thanks for adding that.
Well, you know,
I mean, it's
that's
just
what I'm here-
amazing the
that's what I'm here
plethora
for,
of
Roger.
information we have.
what I'm
Now
here
we have some news from WCBU.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Ben Howell. Central Illinois Congressman Eric Sorensen says he will not support the funding bill that would end the longest government shutdown in history. Sorensen is a Democrat who represents parts of the Peoria area. He says, quote, cannot in good faith support a funding bill that doesn't make the lives of my neighbors more affordable as they struggle with the high cost of Trump's tariffs. Democrats have demanded Republicans address the expected rise in health care costs from the scheduled end of Obamacare subsidies. The shutdown has cut food assistance benefits to about 2 million Illinoisans. A state lawmaker who helped shape health care funding in Illinois says the federal government shutdown has placed significant burdens on families. Anna Moeller chairs the House Budget Committee that oversees funding for health and human services. Mueller, a Democrat from Elgin, tells Capital News Illinois the state is doing the best it can to protect its most vulnerable.
We don't have the resources at the state level to fully make up for the loss of federal funds.
Mueller says the $20 million the governor has approved for food pantries during the shutdown won't be near enough. Mueller says the state can't dip far into cash reserves to cover emergencies, with 3 more years of the Trump administration left. Republican Darren Bailey says he's moving forward with his campaign for governor. Capital News Illinois reports Bailey's candidacy was in doubt after his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren were killed in a helicopter crash in Montana last month. But Bailey says in a video posted to his social media that he will proceed after a lot of prayer and reflection and encouragement from President Donald Trump. Bailey was the party's nominee in 2022. He lost to incumbent Democrat J.B. Pritzker. The primary election is March 17th. And Bradley University has removed the interim tag from Dan Moon's title as Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs. Moon was hired after a national search. He has served in the provost role on an interim basis since last year. Moon came to Bradley in 2022 as the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Prior to that, Moon spent 17 years as an administrator at the University of North Florida. I'm Ben Howell.
All right, boys and girls, it's time for sports on WACU, brought to you by BradleyFans.com. And here he is, the one and only Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Gino.
Yeah, good morning, Roger. Well, Bradley basketball from yesterday, it was kind of a downer for Bradley fans. The Bradley men lost at home to the University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawks, 78-67. Poor shooting doomed the Braves. They were just 3 of 20 on three-point shots and only 17 of 51 overall, 33%. Still not good. Excuse me.
Are you okay?
I still have a little cough lingering from my ailments, but still not good for shooting, especially on your home floor. The previous game UT Martin played, they won out at UNLV, so that indicated they were a pretty good team, and Bradley experienced that last night. Very skilled team, and so Bradley goes down. They have another chance to get back on the winning track Saturday night. They play at University of San Francisco out on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on Saturday night, our time. And you can find out more about that on BradleyFans.com. The Bradley women played last night as part of a doubleheader. They played prior to the men's game, and they won, beating DePaul 78-64. DePaul's a pretty good team from the Big East, so that was a big win for the Bradley women, who are much improved this year over last year. Bradley women now 2-0 to start the season. They'll start their next games. They'll play their next game Saturday. They play over in Indianapolis against IU Indianapolis, formerly IUPUI. In the NFL, this is Week 11 coming up, and there's a Thursday night game tonight with the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. New England, an 11.5-point favorite in tonight's game. That's on the Prime Video Network at 7:15. The Bears are 6-3, won 6 of their last 7, and they are in Minneapolis to play the Vikings on Sunday at noon. Minnesota 3.5-point favorite on that game, and that'll be on the Fox network. College football this weekend. Yeah, the Illini are playing again after a week off last weekend. They play Maryland at home here in Champaign, 2:30 p.m. Saturday on FS1, and Notre Dame is playing on Saturday as well. They're up to number 9 on the college football playoff rankings. They play Pittsburgh over in Pittsburgh on a Saturday at 11 a.m., and that's on ABC. We got high school football this weekend, a couple of big games. Washington High School is playing in the 5A quarterfinals against New Lenox Providence, and they're playing.
That's a private school, right?
That is private Catholic school.
So they can recruit players from all over America.
And the ISHA has tried to sort of penalize these private schools because they do have that advantage by moving them up a class. By size, that school would probably fall in 3A, a couple of classes below 5A, but they've been moved up. They still dominate in these higher classes.
Wouldn't it be fair, particularly in basketball, but certainly in other sports as well, to have private schools have their own tournament and then the champion play the public schools and their champion?
Some states do that.
Would that be more fair?
Yeah, in fact, Wisconsin has a separate class for these private schools.
And then do the two winners play each other?
No, they don't. They just end up as the champion of the private school class. But no, that's never been the way they do it in Illinois. And yeah, there's constantly arguments that go back and forth about that. I don't know if it'll ever reach a resolution that'll be satisfactory to both sides, but that's the way it is. Anyway, Washington plays at New Lenox Providence on Saturday. Peoria High School still alive in 5A as well, and they play at Oak Forest High School at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Now, are these semifinals or the winners lined up playing
quarterfinals?
So they still got 2 games to play.
So yeah, so even the winners will from this weekend, then we'll go to the Final Four, which is the semifinals.
Now, is that in Champaign or ISU?
No, that'll still be on high school fields, and then it's just the championship game that'll be the Thanksgiving weekend on the field over in Champaign.
Champaign, okay.
Yeah. Okay, over in the NHL, the Chicago Blackhawks lost last night in overtime to the New Jersey Devils 4-3, and the Bulls lost last night in the NBA to the Detroit Pistons 124-113. And MLB Award Week this week. Yesterday was the Cy Young Award winners announced late afternoon yesterday. In the American League, it was Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. He repeats as the Cy Young Award winner in the American League, and in the National League was Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that one was a unanimous vote. He had quite a year for the Pirates.
Who votes for that? The reporters or the coaches,
Yeah,
or managers?
I think it's a reporter from each team because there's 30 votes, so
right.
there's just one vote from each team, and I don't know if it's the general managers or the managers or the media that do that. I'll have to check. I think it's the media. But it is an MLB award. It doesn't come through one of the media organizations, so it might be the managers that vote.
Okay.
I can double check.
Would you check that out?
I can do that.
Okay.
And that's it for sports.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. News, weather, and sports. On Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WACU, FM 90.7 in wonderful Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube. Well, we have a great honor and an exclusive, as a matter of fact. For years, we've talked to this gentleman who has arrived in our studio. He flew in yesterday, I think it is. Wow. We have a recording of him coming into Peoria. I take that back. He just left.
Wow.
Yeah. Dick Crain, God bless you. I want you to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. It's a pleasure to be here. We've talked so many times on the phone, and now I can see exactly where it is that you work, and it's an honor to
Now
be
he'll
here.
never call.
Yeah, I'll just fly up.
Yeah.
Although the airplane you were showing is a Target. It's not
A Target?
Not one that I flew. Yeah, that was an F-16. I flew F-18s.
A Target.
We use those guys as targets.
Hey, Dick, I have a cheap budget. I have to go with what we've got.
Well, that's why the Air Force has that airplane.
Yeah. Oh, let's hear it for the Navy.
But I'll tell you, it's great to be on the same team. There's no question. That's a fourth-generation fighter. It was an F-16 that was on Roger's computer. And that is a fourth-generation fighter. It has a little bit different mission than we did as an F-18, but it's a very good competitive rivalry.
Isn't the mission the same, though, regardless of the plane, and that is shoot the other
Kill the bad guy. Yeah, right.
guy?
Well, that's like it. You know, it's like, you know, what the old saying, one of the old generals said, it's not your job to die for your country, it's your job to make somebody else die for his country. Right? Yeah. General, I think that was General Patton, I'm pretty sure.
Do you have that as a tattoo on your arm anymore?
No, but that's a great idea. I might have to get that.
Yeah. Hey, just to remind everybody who Dick Crain is, you're a native Peorian. Where were you born and raised on, I assume, the south side because you went to Manual?
Yeah, I was in West Peoria.
West Peoria.
Yeah, and I was...
What street? What was it? Sherman, Kellogg,
Parker.
It was Heading. Heading.
The main drag.
Yeah, right down, you know, we had all kinds of fun things to do as kids and
In the
terrorize the
cemetery.
neighborhood. Yeah. So I'm sure we had a good reputation.
Yeah, right near what, the St. Joseph home? Was that?
Right across the street.
Yeah.
Right across the
Amazing.
street. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons you're very spiritual.
Well, you know, honestly, I don't know if that had anything to do with it back then.
Yeah.
But
So
I had a
you
lot
would-
of good influence.
So did they have school buses back then?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. I done versus covered wagons. But yeah, so you went to Manual, and tell us about if you remember who some of the teachers were and the coaches that you played for.
Well, I could have some goods and some others. You know, one of my closest friends, as you know, was somebody that was in here with you for years, Jim Bixby, who I'm
God rest his soul.
indebted to. He had a huge influence on my life. And I've always said, you know, there's a fine line between success and failure. And fortunately for me, it worked out. I had a great mentor in Jim Bixby. He was a great guy, and I love him. God rest his soul. And I had some tough coaches. And I'll tell you one, Ed Stonebach, you've heard me talk about him before. He was, we were his 50th year of coaching.
Wow.
And he was not into listening to anything, you know, snotty-nosed kids had to say. And he was tough. You know, I was a catcher on the baseball team and you know, I always said I excelled at mediocrity. And Stonebach was on me 24/7. If he wasn't yelling at me or, you know, and as a kid, you go, what the heck's wrong with this guy? You know, he was brutal. And but then it got to be where we just blew it off. And there was a lot of value in that because he wanted us to be men and he wanted us to excel at what we did, not just do it to go through the motions. And he actually, as tough as he was and as hard as he was to play baseball for, and being the catcher, he was on me all the time because the catcher's kind of like the quarterback of the team. It did help us grow and realize the value in sports. And I still look at this today saying a lot of the problem in sports is participation trophies. You know, it rewards a loser for being a loser and it diminishes the accomplishment of the winner. There were no participation trophies when you played for Ed Stonebach. You either did it his way or you're going to go find somebody else to play for. And that's the way he coached us. And we had success. And I got to give him credit, you know. It wasn't my idea of a fun day at the beach, but he did help us grow up.
Did you play any football as well, as I understand it?
I did. I played football. And
Who was the football coach?
Bob Smith.
Oh, Bob's a great guy.
Yeah, I think you
Talk
guys
about coaches, class act.
You've
Bob
had him
Smith.
in here,
Yes.
and I love Bob Smith. I will till the day I go to my grave. He is probably top coach I ever played for, and he was a winner, and he was passionate about what he did, and again, he taught us the value in losing. You know, we all play to win.
I want to hear about that.
Well, we all play
As
to
a
win.
loser.
But, you know, it doesn't always work out, right? Yeah. And you shouldn't be rewarded. What losing does is it teaches you how to get your rear end kicked, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and do better next time if you don't want to lose the next time. Mm-hmm. And Bob Smith was the greatest guy in the world at teaching us, you know, and motivating us. And he wasn't easy either. I mean, we ran and we did drills, and when we were done with practice, we were tired. But when we went into the game, we were prepared.
You were prepared, yeah.
Yep.
Good for you. And after high school, you went to Bradley?
Well, I actually went to Illinois State for a year and played for Duffy Bass over there.
In baseball?
Yeah, I was a catcher in college, and I say there was only one thing that kept me from playing pro ball, and that was lack of physical ability.
Your knees.
Necessary. So you were there for 1 year and then transferred to Bradley?
And transferred to Bradley, yeah. And
did you play for, who would have been back then, Leo Schraw?
Dewey Kelmer.
Dewey Kelmer,
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And then I had shoulder issues about a year and a half after I got there, and that was kind of the end of my professional athletic career, although there was no money.
Yeah. At what point did you decide you wanted to join the military?
You know, it's funny. My goal was to play for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's what I wanted to do. And, you know, in college, you have 3 areas you can excel at: athletics, academic, and social. And I learned real quick there's no way you can be good at all 3. No way. Yeah, but I still ended up with a pretty good grade point average. And when I knew I wasn't going to be able to play baseball, I had to go to Plan B. The only problem is I didn't know what Plan B was, you know. And about a couple of weeks before I graduated, and I thank the Lord for this because I feel like it was, you know, placed on my heart. I saw an ad on TV about, it was an Air Force ad like that F-16 you just showed, but I don't think we had those back then. And I said, you know, that looks like something I think I would love to do. It looks exciting, and I went to recruiter the next day and ended up, because of what the Air Force recruiter said, going to the Navy and basically signed my life away right then.
Yeah. And how many years did you serve in the Navy?
I was active duty for almost 9 after we got back from Desert Storm, the Gulf War back in '91. I got off active duty and went right into the reserves. And it was perfect timing because, you know, they tailored what they needed by what you did. If you had some kind of experience that they could use, you were the guy they wanted. And because I had combat experience, I got right into the reserves. Like I flew an active duty F-18 one day, flew a reserve F-18 the next day, and then I got an airline job, and I did that for the next almost 11 years until I was able to retire from the reserve. So I was flying for the airlines and Navy at the same time for.
So you got all your pilot's training from the Air Force?
Navy.
I'm sorry, from the Navy?
Yeah, boy,
That
bite
was all-
your tongue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A naval aviator.
That's
I'm sorry.
right, yeah.
Sorry.
Navy aviator.
But you got all your
I did.
flight stuff through them.
I
Okay.
did. Matter of fact, the first time I flew was when I got on an airplane. I was flying to Pensacola to go to officer training. So
Really?
yeah, so I had no experience.
Wow.
And I always heard, you
Wow.
know, that you're really starting behind the eight ball. This is from all the guys who had
You didn't
experience.
have a pilot's license?
No,
or
I never
anything?
flew. Never flew.
Wow.
Never been
That's-
on an airplane.
You must have been very, very good then, Dick, because that's very impressive. to-
You know, I'll tell you what, I had my moments, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would.
One of the moments you have to describe for us. One of the moments, or two. One, landing on an aircraft carrier for the first time,
God.
and landing on an aircraft carrier at night for the first time. And then they had a missile that was chasing you over the skies of Iraq. Was it?
Yeah, it was kind of like shooting fish in a pond. We had taken out the radar, so they were unguided, but they were still coming towards you, and you know they're trying to kill you. So again, it's our job to get him first. But I think the biggest turning point in my life, other than the time I accepted Christ into my world, right? That's the number one thing. But when I first got commissioned, I go to flight school, and getting ready for my first simulator. Never flown an airplane, didn't know how to read instruments, anything, but I read and I learned, you know, I was prepared, what I thought was prepared for this first simulator, and it's a box no bigger than, you know, like 3 by 5, and it has the instruments of the airplane in it, but the instructor's some old retired guy, and he's sitting right outside the box. You know, it's a static trainer. It doesn't move, but the instruments move. This is the first one. I'm so excited. I'd already told everybody I'm going to be a fighter pilot. That's it. You know. So I get in this, and he goes, "Are you ready?" And, you know, when you study for a test in school, you just study it and you put it back on paper. But when you study learning how to fly, you study and you learn what's on paper, but then you also have to execute it, which is a tough combination until you can, you know, think through it clearly and get past the nerves. So he's sitting there and he goes, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm just fired up. You know, I'm going to be a Navy fighter pilot. This is, you know," I'm thinking that to myself. He goes, "You sure you're ready?" And I go, "I'm ready. I'm ready." And he goes, "Okay, you're going to be flying 3, 2, 1. You're flying." And it took me 10 seconds to roll upside down and crash. and I'll tell you, but that was the biggest learning point of my life, because it made me realize I wasn't a natural in academics. I had to study, I had to work. I wasn't a natural in sports. I had to, you know, really work hard to have any success. And I sure wasn't a natural at flying airplanes.
Wow.
But that made me.
You know what, though? You must have been. I mean, not that many guys get to go to Top Gun. I mean, that's not.
Well,
that comes to a point really quick.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That is great training. Yeah. But what I was going to say about that, when that happened, it made me realize I need to study and I need to look at those instruments and picture what they're doing. And I would get my books and go to maintenance and see what airplane they weren't using that day. And I would get in that airplane with my books. I'd study. Then I'd picture the instruments moving. They call it armchair flying, which is a very difficult thing to do, to sit and think in your mind how, what you're looking at. So that was huge for me, because that kind of launched me into a very successful career.
Wow.
All right, we're going to pause and for the news and the weather, and Dick Crain is here, and also I'm going to have Matt Waugh, our CPA, here is going to arm wrestle you with the microphone Both of you can sit together. I don't want to get you too far away from your fellow Navy veteran, Mike Dentino, who didn't fly jets but drove boats, or at least was on a boat that was driven.
I was on the other side of that equation.
Yeah, where?
He was
Yeah,
underwater.
because I was on a salvage and rescue salvage and recovery craft.
Well, thank God I never saw you in the Navy.
Well, see, we honestly, we never saw the pilots because it wasn't rescue so much as recovery.
Yeah, we don't want to be on that. You know,
Yeah,
they always
no.
say you want your takeoffs and landings to equal each other.
And I've always found it was great wisdom to never leave an airplane unnecessarily.
That's
particularly
right.
while it's moving.
Yeah, never jump out of a good airplane.
That's right.
Thank God we had the ejection seat. Yeah.
There are times when I like to have it in the studio.
Oh.
Don't go away. We have the news first of all. And pleasant good morning. Of course, it's the bottom of the hour. We'll start with the news brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President, Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. For all your investment needs, check out Bob Manning. He's at 309-671-4653. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Mike has the news. Good morning, Mike.
Thanks, Roger. Over the objections from Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history, a shutdown that lasted 43 days, thanks to Democrats who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill. The 2 Republicans who opposed reopening the government were Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time. Earlier, the Senate passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40. One of the significant races next year is for governor of the state of California. Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting gas in the state will rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment at the Lexington Hills complex last February has accepted a plea arrangement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to 1 count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pled guilty earlier this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Peoria School District Board members this week honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for her quick action rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response under pressure, alerting medical personnel for transport of the student to a local hospital for treatment. They had a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street for the new Adams Street Center. Owned by Baldovan Development Group, the center includes newly renovated apartments and commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. Located near Peoria's Chiefs Field, it's part of the Warehouse District. And Roger, that's it for news.
Oh, Roger, I got one breaking news story. That I just read. It seems that there was a wreck out on 74 down by Goodfield. It was a truck carrying thousands of copies of Thesauruses overturned this morning. Onlookers were stunned, startled, aghast, taken back, stupefied, confused, shocked, rattled, paralyzed, dazed, bewildered, mixed up, surprised, astounded, amazed, confounded, astonished, overwhelmed, horrified, numb, speechless, and perplexed. And that's the news.
That's the word salad.
Boy, that was a heck of a turnover.
That's it.
Yeah. That is the news.
Run the tape back so we can delete that portion of our news and weather.
I wasn't sure which one would be the best.
Well, that certainly is not at the top of the list. On the other hand, let's talk about the weather and some realistic copy for that matter. Brought to you by Kyle Varno. He's Mr. Weather, and he's also in the insurance industry, eager to serve you with free, emphasize the word free, reviews of your insurance plans. And there's no obligation for that. And you can access yourself to that free service by calling Kyle today at 309-682-0519.
Sonny
Now, once again, here is the guy who loves to talk.
Sonny. Can I go? Sunny and pleasant today, Roger. Now, you knew a lot about weather. You had to do that, right? You had to. Yeah. No, not avoid it. You had to know whether you could fly that day or if it's going to be.
Yeah, we got extensive training on it.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, today's going to be a nice day to fly.
This
okay. Sunny and pleasant today. It's going to be nice flying today.
Nice is good.
Because be clear, tonight 44, 71 or 61 for a high today. Tomorrow sunny and warm, high 70. Beautiful day to fly. Saturday sunny and windy, high 71. Another nice day to fly. Right now it's 34. Did you ever fly chemicals? Did you ever fly a plane with chemicals in it, contrails?
No.
Or chemtrails, they call them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I can tell you this, I'd rather fly when it's raining and be off when it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good way to put it, as a matter of fact. Matt Wall is here. If Matt will get a little closer to the microphone, and you may have to sit on Dick's lap, but that's okay. We're a friendly group of people. Were you happy to see the government going back to work, and that means IRS will finally answer the phone?
Well, I hope they do. I don't know. It takes them a while to get to work anyway. They probably home sleeping right now. They haven't probably even got notice that they have to go back to work. But, yeah, I'm going to make some phone calls maybe even today, see how things are going. I called the last couple of weeks ago, and the guy just had a answering thing. He said, "Oh, I'm off on for undisclosed amount of time, and I don't know. I can't take any messages, and you don't leave me any messages, don't leave me anything until
except a check
until I get back."
Yeah. This has to be devastating to IRS. They're already understaffed, as I recall, and now they're 43 days, and they're not immediately going to show up for work today, I suspect. But will they ever catch up? And does that also mean, as a follow-up question, we won't see many audits this time around?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm hoping they get through the ones that they're already in process. Is what I'm trying to go through. But there's a lot of them. I have a lot of them that I'm working on. What happens is when they're on leave. What they call the statute of limitations, which is the amount of time the IRS can go after people. It keeps running.
That's 7 years, 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. So if people were in that time frame and they kept going, they would have been scot-free. They wouldn't have had to pay anything. And that's a lot of people were hoping that was the case. But
Do you have a lot of clients who have been audited that you're in the process of defending?
Oh, yeah. Most of them now are computerized audits, and I was at a webinar last week, and it's going to be AI.
They're going to run the world, Roger. AI is going to run the world.
They're going to pick returns that it's all algorithms and everything, and if you deduct, let's say $10,000 of auto expenses, and you're only making $2,000, let's say, that's going to stick out on its own.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, and they're just going to send you a notice. Explain this, send it in, and go from there. And they may just pick and choose. They're not going to, like it used to be when you got audited, you had to bring your whole suitcases in and
all the receipts and so forth.
Defend everything on the return. But now it's just going to be pinpoint, a lot of income. They're going to be able to tap into your bank account, too, eventually. to see, okay, I got a $10,000 deposit. Where's that on your tax return? You're going to have to defend where, that was a gift from my grandma or something, and defend it. But if there's continuous money flowing in and it doesn't show up on any return, or if there's no return filed, there's a lot of people that don't file.
I don't understand that. Are they your clients or what?
How many criminals do you represent? Is what Roger's asking.
Well, to be honest, I did get a officer come into my office about, it was pretty long ago, but he walks up to the front desk, said, secretary comes back to my office, hey, there's a gentleman to see you. I walk up there, and he's got a suit, he's got this badge, and I go, who? He goes, I'm so-and-so from the Department of Justice.
Oh, wow.
And I go, who are you to see? And he goes, you. I go, okay. Yeah. So then I go, what client is it? So he told me to go, okay. I knew.
Who was that? Can you
tell? Well, what happened was they did a mock trial. I didn't know they did these things, but, to see if how I was going to work in the real courtroom, they lost. They lost in the mock trial. So they pled guilty to it.
And do they hire retired judges to be the?
Yeah, I mean there was a company. There was companies that do that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And they did that, and they lost. But when I was interrogated by our inner CPAs and upper echelon guys in the firm, they had my review notes on a plaster, like a cardboard thing, like 6 foot tall and 3 foot wide, and they went line by line. What'd you mean by this statement? What'd you mean by that statement? I go, I don't know. That was like 3 years ago when I had this.
Does that work when you say, I don't know?
Well, the attorney in the room said, you could be an unindicted co-conspirator. And I go, what is that? I didn't know what that was either until that.
Did it make you nervous when you had to wear an orange jumpsuit?
No, I got it. But with the partner, he had transferred in the meantime to an office in Iowa. Well, he got his CPA taken away from him. Oh. So he got kicked out of the firm, and it was not a real big, like money laundering situation. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but it was a political. They were making payments to a political party to influence.
What party was that?
Well, it was the.
Never mind.
The Wild Party.
Yeah. This is up in Joliet, so they have a little bit of different standards up there.
Particularly at Stateville.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that matter. Do you have a lot of clients that show up for the first time for an appointment and said, well, where should I begin? And they say, I haven't filed for 5 years.
Oh,
do you have many who
yeah.
say, what's their mindset? I mean, do you lecture them and say, you can't get away with this?
There's people who have a phobia to file taxes. I get it all the time.
Well, I do too, but I still pay.
Yeah. I mean, they just don't get their stuff together.
When I was a kid, I didn't file for like 4 years. I was young. But
well, were you 6?
No.
Paper route.
I didn't start my first business till I was 10. But I didn't file, but they didn't care. I had a return every year, and they don't care if you don't file if you have a return.
So. Is that true?
What kind of a return are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, not much.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't owe the IRS any money.
Yeah. Well, how did they know that if you don't file? Is the question.
Well, but they knew when I filed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did make it up then?
Yeah, I did file. I
Okay.
did go back and file.
Yeah. Well, I've done
like
that
4
too
or 5
for
years. Yeah.
I've done 6 years. Well, they go back.
Young,
they only
16
care
years,
6 years.
18 years old.
Yeah.
If you are not filing for 10 years, all they want is the last 6. So you could go 4 years and then.
Yeah, but you got to pay a penalty, don't you?
Not for the 4 that.
Well,
you
I'm
didn't
going to
file.
start skipping. Don't expect my return this year.
Well, let's see, when you start back up, Roger, you'll be 95 years old, and then.
Well, I'll be dead by then, so I don't think that's maybe. Well, hey, let's talk about no tips or being
No tax on tips.
yeah, and no tax on overtime. that doesn't work when you file for this year or last year,
Yeah,
does it?
coming up.
So it won't kick in until 2026?
Well, it's on this year's return. There's a
Oh, it is?
Schedule 1. They got a new Schedule 1. It's got tips, it's got overtime, it's got Social Security,
So you've
and it's
seen
got
that.
Car interest expense. You can deduct it now on
really?
new cars
Oh,
that, are,
new
that are
cars.
made in the United States.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes, but that's one that's kind of camouflage. But the no tax on tips. The problem is that they allowed the restaurants and everybody gets tips to not have to report them to the employees. So I'm gonna
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm gonna have to ask everybody that is that profession to, okay, how many tips did you get last year? Well, I don't know.
We get tips in. We get tips in here, Raj. We get.
Yeah. The tip is don't eat all the donuts.
But
You know, it
in
doesn't-
tips though, Roger,
Yes.
how many people that get tips actually report them anyway? They get
And
cash
not many.
tips.
You know, and that's one of the reasons why I don't know about the rest of you. I rarely they put this thing in front of you for tips, 20%, 10%, so forth. I always leave my tip on the table, and because I've talked to servers, that's what they prefer.
Yeah,
They
of
make
course.
no bones
Well,
about
sometimes the
it
company
because
takes-
for one thing, it's better hidden that way. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, and also they just stick that in their pocket and it never shows up anywhere. So,
Yeah. Do you, Gene? Do you?
Well, you know, the Civic Center now is cashless. So you just walk up and buy a Coke or a bag of popcorn. They spin this thing around, and it's got the 10, 15, 20% or custom tip thing.
Do you tip them under the? They don't do anything.
I did up until last night. And last night I got a little bold
Bradley
and
was
I hit
losing.
no tip.
Bradley was losing.
Because for
and you were
somebody to
upset.
just reach behind them and grab a bag of popcorn and hand it to you.
And they want
Give me a break.
20%. Yeah.
Yeah, they want 20% of the price. Now, for a $5 item or whatever, that's not it's a negligible amount, but still, it's crazy. But if it's more substantial, I would tip. Yeah.
You leave cash though, or do you put it on the card? Do you leave cash for the tip? And
Well, again, they're cashless there, so if
okay.
you hand them cash, they won't take it.
Oh,
You
okay.
have to
stick
put it on the
the
card.
button there.
No, that's ridiculous. Did you ever get a tip for any of your passengers with Southwest? They say, Captain, that was a great landing, and here's $5. Buy yourself a cup of coffee.
There have been people that do that, but usually I get the tip that you should have found a different career.
That usually came from your co-pilot, didn't it?
I'm guessing he's not telling us the truth.
From time to time, though, I have, as I'm leaving the airplane, asked the question of the captain now, did we land or were we shot down?
Hey, that is a great line. I love that one. That's the winner, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll tell you, being a Navy guy, you have your great landings, but on short runways like Midway or Burbank or somewhere like that, you got to put it down at the end. Because you want to make sure you have enough room at the other end once you get to taxi speed. And sometimes you have pretty firm landing, which honestly,
Is that what you call it? A firm landing?
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay.
You can say hard.
It's a firm landing. I love it. That's another winner, lady.
But the thing about that is those landings actually are the safest, because if you think about your velocity, if that velocity vector is going down, it dissipates more energy. You get slower sooner. It actually is the safest landing, although people in the back think the safest landing is the one that they can't even feel.
Right.
Yeah. And those are nice. You can go out and do your hero walk afterward, that was,
Well, in other words, what you're saying, Dick, no one's ever went, after you've landed and the cabin doors open, no one's ever leaned in and said, hey, nice firm landing.
but, the ultimate goal is zero airspeed at the gate. That's what you're shooting for. After a hard landing, I've done this where you get on the PA and say, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the USS Midway, or whatever. If you didn't know what a carrier landing was like before, now you do.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, what things, when we talk about the IRS and returning, You know, we are talking about changes in Medicare enrollment plans and so forth. A lot of changes this year on returns.
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
significant?
In fact, I hope they get the returns all organized in time to file. 'Cause it takes a lot of time for them to come up with the form at the IRS. And then they have to ship it all that to, like the Intuit is what we use, their big company. And then they plug it in and make sure it all aligns with the tax form that they think it's, and it's very hard to do that kind of stuff because the law is one thing, and then you got to put it on a piece of paper and make it work mathematically. And with all the phase outs and intertwining of the numbers now, it takes a lot of work. So I'm hoping by March 1st that we could get going, even though it's not, we only have a month.
1st,
yeah,
maybe?
a month and a half.
Wow.
I'm guessing that we might have to extend quite a few returns.
Wouldn't it be wiser if President Trump said to IRS, I know the deadline's April 15th, and maybe it has to be an act of Congress, that we're now going to make it May 15th instead of April.
They could, but
Would
it
that
doesn't
be-
happen very often.
Well, 42 days was the record setting,
Yeah.
so that would be justification for extending it another 30 days.
They
in
might
my
do
opinion.
they might do that, but they might also say you still have to pay by April 15th
Right.
what you think you
Yeah.
owe. Which
Oh, they
is,
want a guesstimate if you extend.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that most people don't even think about is that, you may not have all your information together, and that's usually one of the reasons why you would extend or file for an extension. And then, well, how the hell can I pay if I don't know
Yeah.
how much I made or how much I sold in stock or what my capital
Figure it on the
gains were?
previous year. Just give them whatever you gave them the
Well,
previous
and
year.
that's what happens a lot of times. But then, like we got a nasty letter from the state this year because we owed like $172 in penalties because we paid estimated, but the estimated were low because we'd sold a bunch of stock, and you start putting numbers on a page for me, and my eyes glaze over like Homer Simpson. So we underpaid what we estimated, and I think the letter came, and every time I see a letter that says Illinois Department of Treasury or Department of Revenue, whatever it is, I'm like, ew, don't touch that letter yet.
Just throw it away. Just throw it away.
Yeah, it sits for a while before I get the nerve to open it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
It
good.
is dangerous, I don't know if I told you, but I've been getting letters, threatening letters from IRS. I think I've gotten 4 of them, but I don't think I'm going to hear from them anymore because yesterday I got one that said final notice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's the bad one.
Yeah.
That's a
the last
bad
one.
one, Roger.
Roger.
That's an intent
That's the
to
best I can do under pressure.
that's an intent to levy notice is what they call it.
There's some scams going around too. With,
Scams, yes.
I got some kind of a letter about scams this year with the IRS.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and they're trying to catch these people that are faking returns and,
Fake
filing
returns and-
filing hundreds of returns on. And what they do is people that procrastinate, those are the ones that are vulnerable for having somebody steal their identity because, if they don't file till April 1st, it gives a thief
Gives more
from
time.
January through April to file a return, and they just keep doing it.
So what? Oh, they're filing a return to somebody who's getting money back.
Yeah, they just and they
Okay,
put in
all
fake numbers, and they just
Oh, really?
it just goes through, and then they're gone. They're gone. They're out of the country.
The scammers don't bother people if they owe money, do they?
No,
That wouldn't make sense.
no. I mean,
So that's the only advantage of owing money. There's not many other advantages.
yeah. Well, one thing to do, Roger, if you do owe money, don't just say I'm not gonna file, because there's a penalty of 5% every single month on top of your tax. It added up to 5 months. You got a 25% penalty. If you just filed an extension, you wouldn't owe that 5%. So even if you don't have the money, send it in and send in the extension with nothing on it. No money, put the amount, but just send it in, and
I
you
file
won't.
an extension every year. I have for years.
Yeah, but
I
don't
never
just
file
ignore
on
it.
time.
If you ignore it, I've
You
got.
never file on time?
No, I don't think I have in the past 20 years.
Yeah, there's that. I don't either, but that's because
Well-
I'm working so hard up until April 15th. Don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's a interest on top of that, Rogers. I've got people that owe like $800,000 to the IRS.
Jeez.
Well, the tax on that was only like $300. The rest of it is penalties and interest that keeps in. Now interest is like 8%, and that's on top of the penalties and your tax. So it just keeps going and going.
They
and going.
do negotiate that down, though, don't they?
Yeah, you have to go through an offer and compromise, what they call offer and compromise, or an installment agreement.
There's a lot of companies that advertise that now.
Yeah, there
You know,
is.
if you owe the
Does that
IRS.
work?
And
Does that, do they
Sometimes
work?
it's tough. You got to be the right. And those type of people, they don't want to pay anything anyway. So you got to talk them into. You got to get out of this somehow, and they come up with a formula, and then okay, I got to do this. They give you an installment agreement, and they give you that. They give you an offer, so you might owe them $800 and have to pay $300 based on your current income, and then you pay it over 5 installments, and then you're done. They write off the rest of it. They only have 10 years to collect on your
I don't know
taxes.
if do you really need a company to do that? If you got to hold the IRS yourself, you could probably work the deal, or no?
You got to file forms and back them up.
Okay.
Everything's got a form attached to it. So
Yeah.
you offer and compromise, it's a special form. Installment agreement, special form. It's innocent spouse, if you're...
Well, I'm not talking about the accountants. I'm talking about these companies that advertise all
they do all that for you.
Okay.
So they have to do that.
Huh.
All right, we're going to pause. You want to stick around a little longer?
Yeah.
For more questions and answers and so forth. Yeah, you bet. Anyway, we have news, weather, sports coming up at the top of the hour. A beautiful Thursday morning, the 13th of November. Thanks for being a part of our program, Breakfast with Roger and Friends, on WAZU FM 90.7. Also on YouTube. And we'll give you the skinny on what's happening locally and around the world coming up. Stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. It is the holiday season, and Steve Sink, managing partner at PHX Affiliates, is again offering, this is quite a good deal, a free business valuation with your contribution to your favorite charity.
Roger, Steve is certified business intermediary, and he's a member of the International Business Brokers Association and on the board of the State Planning Council of Central Illinois and a member of National Association of Certified Valuators and Analysts. He has got the background for this, Roger. He's been representing clients for over 25 years. How do you get a hold of him?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, good question. You get a hold of Steve by dialing this number, 309-696-8508. That number again, 696-8508. How about the weather, my friend?
It's going to be a beautiful day. Sunny and pleasant today, high 61 tonight, clear 44 tomorrow. Sunny and warm, high 70 tomorrow. Saturday, sunny and windy, but it's still going to be 71 degrees. Right now, we're creeping up a little bit. We're at 34 degrees at the water.
All right, you got it now. Time for the news, and the news brought to you by It Plays Media Group. This Christmas, make your memories a movie magic, because the folks at It Plays Media is offering screen holiday photo sessions with fun digital backdrops, from cozy fireplaces to snowy wonderlands. Really beautiful what Chris Buckley can do for you. You can choose from affordable packages that fit your budget, your family budget, and by the way, he can even add a short video clip perfect for your holiday social media. You can get more information at 309-306-2152. That's 306-2152. Well, let's get into the news. Mike, what do you have? Good morning.
Well, what we got this morning is over the objection of Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history, a shutdown that lasted 43 days thanks to the Democrats, who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill.
The two renegade Republicans who balked at reopening. of the
Name them.
government.
Who were they?
That would be Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Greg Stubbe of Florida. Your home state now, right? Well, go talk to that guy, will you?
Yeah.
President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time last night. Earlier, the Senate passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40 after Republicans agreed to revisit the Democrat demand for extending the subsidies for the Obama Affordable Care Subsidies sometime in December or January.
In more political news, congressional Democrats released some Epstein files showing conversations between Donald Trump and the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. The White House deflected the effort to smear the president by noting that one woman who lived in the resort island owned by Epstein said she never saw or heard Trump involved in any wrongdoing.
In turn, Republicans released information about collusion between reporters and Epstein. Case in point, writer and columnist Michael Wolff urged Epstein to publicly attack Trump as a way of diverting attention away from his accusers. Epstein, who committed suicide? Question mark?
Right.
Was charged with sex trafficking of minors. Many big names have been associated with Epstein, including, let me look around the room. Nope.
Nobody here.
Nobody here. That'd be Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, is he still looking for a place to stay?
Yeah.
He find a place to stay, and Woody Allen.
And Woody Allen. I noticed you dropped Al Gore.
Well, I didn't want to fight.
Yeah. Gene was defending him, and we said, let's take his
There's
name
like hundreds of names on those lists. We
Yeah,
could,
well,
get very specific.
Do you ever fly in and out of that island, Dick?
Say no, Dick. Say no.
That was on my bucket list.
Well, moving right along.
That was another one. We've had a lot of winning comments this morning.
With no passengers, right?
Yeah.
One of the big races next year is for governor of the state of California. Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices. Golfer Phil Mickelson joined in the call for drilling, saying gas is selling in California today for more than $5 a gallon and is expected to go higher next year. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting gas in the state will rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon.
They had a climate change conference in Brazil, and the only American leader to attend was California Governor Gavin Newsom. Newsom flew to the event in a big private jet to condemn President Trump for not participating in talks about global carbon transmission coming primarily from airplanes. How much fuel does that burn? Now, you drove. You drove.
He drove. Yeah, flew on the tarmac.
You drive a plane.
Yes, but
That's
once
what we called it. We drove.
We drove them.
We drove.
How much fuel would those things burn in an hour?
Now,
more so than what he probably
yeah,
flew.
at cruise, probably about 5,000 pounds an hour.
5,000?
Once you're leveled off, you're burning less than obviously when you're climbing. It's higher power setting.
5,000 pounds.
you're
So
a
what's
lot
that a
of-
gallon? I don't know. I don't buy gas by the pound.
If you look at,
I don't go to Shell and go, give me 4 pounds of gas.
a gallon of gas, and it's JP8 or JP5, something like that, which is what we used all the time. And that's what the whole commercial aviation industry uses. You can say about 6.5 pounds a gallon.
And you had how many pounds in your plane? 500?
No, that we would use that an hour, 5,000 pounds an hour. So 2,500 on each engine. Once you're at cruise.
Wow.
Yeah. But you know,
You know what he's saying as well? He has no idea what Dick just said.
Not a clue.
but this is
Not a clue.
the point that we've talked about this extensively, and that's okay. We'll have a remedial session here. in a
Okay,
while.
Dick, thanks.
But obviously I don't know what I'm talking about either. So.
Dick, we don't know that, so you're on a roll.
Yeah,
Just spit it out. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
We don't have a clue.
You know, the thing is that you look at the vast size of the atmosphere is, it's incomprehensible how big it is. And, we're tiny gnats in a huge atmosphere, including the airplane, including the fuel that's burned compared to the size. That's why I seriously question about how it doesn't change anything with the atmosphere, my opinion.
Okay, I'm going to do something that Terry just did and say, wow, because I have no idea what you just said. But if you say wow, it makes it
specifically
sound.
ozone
No,
layer.
just the atmosphere that we operate in. You think of the size is just unbelievable. You know, how big it is and how insignificant the number of, we have a lot of airplanes in the air, right? But it's still a very small percentage of the vast size of that atmosphere. It's less than,
Right.
1/100th of 1%.
When you were flying, Dick, did you all the time look out of the window, or did you sometimes doze off?
Sometimes doze off.
Yeah, actually, I trained that train driver in San Francisco that happened to. Yeah.
Okay.
I told her how to wake up at the most critical time.
Yeah, like the guy on the Titanic's lookout guy, his last words were, "What iceberg?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Back to
moving.
Where are we?
I think
You
we
lost control.
we as we often do. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment at the Lexington Hills complex last February has accepted a plea agreement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. The 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to one count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pleaded guilty earlier this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison.
Peoria School District board members this week, want to grab that, Raj? Honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for quick action, rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response.
Well, they had a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street for the new Adams Street Center. Owned by Baldovan Development Group, the project includes newly renovated apartments and a commercial space or commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. Located near the Peoria Chiefs Field, it's part of the Warehouse District. That's it for the news.
That's it, Roger.
All right, we have someone on the phone, but John, I'm going to put you on hold and do sports, and then we'll get to your call, if John doesn't mind. And that means sports with
Dr.
a guy that knows sports, and that's Dr. James Sidler. Brought to you by BradleyFans.com.
Thank you, Roger. Well, it wasn't all good at Bradley for the basketball games yesterday. We had the men losing their game with the University of Tennessee Martin Skyhawks. Bradley on the losing side, 78-67. Bradley doomed by poor shooting. They were just 3 of 20 from three-point range and 17 of 51 overall, 33%, not a good shooting percentage when you're on your home floor. UT Martin's a pretty good team, so it wasn't totally a shock, but still you hope to win those home games. Bradley goes on the road for their next game. That'll be Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central Time in California at the University of San Francisco, alma mater of
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, you got it.
And they call them the Dons, do they not?
They are the Dons, yes. And pretty good team. They also won last night, and they are undefeated on the season, so that'll be a tough test for Bradley. Bradley women, though, did have better luck. They played last night prior to the men's game against DePaul University and came away winners, beating a pretty good DePaul team, 78-64. Bradley women now 2-0 to start their season. Their next game is also Saturday night in Indianapolis against IU Indianapolis, formerly the IUPUI Jaguars. They are now called IU Indianapolis. And the NFL this weekend is Week 11. Thursday Night Football tonight is the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. Patriots are 11.5-point favorites. That game on Prime Video tonight. And the Bears play on Sunday. They're 6-3. They've won 6 of their last 7. They're at the Minnesota Vikings for a game at noon on Fox Network. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. In college football, Illinois is at home Saturday to play Maryland, a 2:30 p.m. game Saturday on the FS1 network, and Notre Dame, 7-2 on the season, 7-game win streak. They move up one spot to number 9 in this week's college football playoff rankings, and they are playing at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's number 24 ranked on those playoff rankings. And that game is at 11 a.m. Saturday on ABC. High school football this weekend. Washington and Peoria both still alive in the Class 5A playoffs. They are playing in the quarterfinals. Washington playing at New Lenox Providence, 1 p.m. Saturday. And Peoria High School playing at Oak Forest High School at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And in hockey, the Chicago Blackhawks lost last night in overtime to the New Jersey Devils, 4-3. And in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls lost last night to the Detroit Pistons, 124-113. And a quick baseball note, Cy Young Award winners yesterday were announced. In the American League, it's Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. He is a winner from last year as well, 2-time winner. And in the National League, it was last year's Rookie of the Year, Paul Skeens, this year's Cy Young Award winner of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's it for sports, right?
You know, that one guy's name, it almost sounds like you call him a screwball.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce the name.
But it's S-K-O-B-A-L?
S-K-U-B-A-L.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. All right, John is on the line. Good morning, John. Hey, John, are you there?
He fell asleep, I think.
Yeah. Let's, let me, I don't know whether are you there, John?
Hey, good morning. Roger, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Good to hear from you, my friend.
Well, yeah, I'm at the scene of that accident out on Carlock where that giant truck rolled over, and there are thesauruses all over the ground. They've just arrested both drivers, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
What happened was the driver of the car that cut off the truck that caused it to roll got out, and he was upset with the truck driver, and he saw that he was a little person, and he said, "Hey," he said, "what's the deal?" And the little person said, "I'm not happy." And he said, "Well, then which one are you?" And then the fight ensued, and now they're in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So I just want to let everybody know that everybody seems to be fine in the accident. They're clearing the road. So at mile marker 72, everything should be okay.
John,
Thank you. Back to you, Roger.
I think that guy works at WMBD. There's a little skullduggery on that.
Oh, my.
And you rushed through your sports just so we could hear that.
It was much more important than sports.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Which one are you?
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, you can see why there's been an increase in mental health facilities.
Well, just watching the show, you can see that.
You know, I really thought that was going to be something serious.
Well, yeah, for a second I did too.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something serious about the IRS. Can we safely assume, because of the delay, and they never did add the 80,000 IRS employees, did they?
No. They're, in fact, I don't know if a lot of them will just say, it's time to just hang it up.
Yeah, and retire.
Yeah. They're, you'll see that a lot because, they got used to those days off, and they probably figured, well, we're surviving financially. Why should I go back to work?
If I can survive on my 80% pension numbers, why should I, keep coming into the circus every day?
Exactly.
Yeah, a pretty good pension deal, IRS agents.
Yeah, they do.
Government pensions.
Yeah,
oh, well,
good.
sure.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Matt Wall of Gordon Stockman Wall, and Dick Crain, our longtime friend from Jacksonville, Florida, is here. A couple of questions for you, and one of those is, what are the deductions this time around?
Well, it's
individual and couples, or couples.
Yeah, you could still itemize, Roger, but it's to a point now where you may not even be able to because of the fact that it's like $30,000 for joint people, and people don't have that much. However, they did raise the. It used to be you could only deduct $10,000 of taxes Well, now it's up to 40,000. So that's a real big bonus for people that live in Illinois because we pay a lot of money for real estate taxes.
Yeah, we sure do.
And then we add in our state income tax on top of that. There's a lot of people that don't get to deduct their full amount of taxes in Illinois because of that. And they're just limited to 10,000. Well, then they have to add their interest if they have any charity and medical, which is another item that's decreased because you have to have over a certain percentage of your income to deduct medical. So very few people get to the $30,000 figure. But if you this year when you get to add in your taxes that you have to pay,
You're talking 70 grand then?
No.
Oh, okay.
You get the first hurdle, and then you go down to the second hurdle, and it's 30,000. So there'll be a lot more people itemizing just because of the tax change. Yeah, because there's people that pay 15,000 on real estate taxes around here.
Yeah.
It's you're not living in a multi-million-dollar house if you're 10,000.
Before I moved out of Peoria, I was paying 18,000 a year in property tax.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I had the cheapest taxes in our neighborhood. So people, how come your taxes are so low? It's like, I don't know.
Well, I think it was due in part to the moat around your castle.
Well, yeah, and that I did get a deduction for the alligators I kept in.
Yeah, kept feeding. for sure. So what do you recommend to most people? Take the deduction, forget the itemized.
Yeah, a lot of people still give me all their receipts for charity and all their receipts for medical, and I plug them in, and it's nowhere even close to having the right number to get to the itemized, which is good. You don't want to be sick and have to pay all your money to doctors, but yeah, they still give it to me, and I just look at it and I go, well, I'm not even going to add them up because I can tell right away you're not going to get anywhere close to the number. But more people will be able to itemize this year. There's going to be a better deduction for seniors.
What are those? I'm wondering about that.
$6,000 a person. So,
really?
Yeah, if you're married, $12,000. You got to be under a certain dollar amount limit. But if you can, that's on top of your itemizing deductions.
So 6,000 if you're single and 12,000.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if I get married this month.
We've already talked about that, Roger.
Yeah. Now you're letting the cat out of the bag.
Well, did they increase to your contributions to IRAs? Didn't they increase?
No, it's just it's still the same number, but yeah, that part of it didn't change.
Okay.
Really.
Now, this is going to be kind of a tough question, and I hate to ask it, but you do prepare my tax returns. We know inflation has hit every business, and it's hit your business as well. What was the dynamic in inflation and what's going on nationwide to cause increases in accounting fees?
Oh, one of the biggest ones is you got the tax law change, okay?
Yes.
That's going to take a lot of effort by Intuit and all the other ones to make the.
What if we don't get to it?
Yeah, that's a different story. But, so we pay like $70,000 a year just for our computer program.
Yeah, but do you have to make me pay for that?
Well, yes, we do, Roger.
They got to make money, Roger.
Yeah,
that comes right off the top, and then whatever we get, measly amount after that.
Well, we know about computers because Dr. Sidler told me several years ago. Every time the government changes their systems, you had to change your computers and had to basically eat the cost of making those changes.
Yeah, now they require you to submit bills electronically, and you have to have the right software to do that. So, yeah,
is that why you quit?
That is actually literally really a reason I quit. Yeah.
Wow.
The bigger part was the electronic record keeping. I mean, you have to keep even patient progress notes and everything all online, and that is accessible to Medicare if it's a Medicare patient. Anytime they want to get into your system, they can literally look at that anytime they want.
Yeah, I don't know how you did what you did and go to every Bradley game. It was.
Well, I always said that my medical practice was just a front.
Yeah.
For me to be a professional basketball fan.
Okay.
But,
We'll take that out in case the IRS is monitoring this.
I still have
program.
patients waiting to get in and see me.
At the game.
Yeah. No, they were put off because they suddenly changed my travel plans. No, not really. It really wasn't that big of a problem.
You knew how to juggle things for that matter. Any monumental changes that we should know about in preparing for our tax returns?
You're going to have to wait a little bit to get your taxes done this year. I'm looking for February, middle of February, starting, maybe middle or beginning of March even, start preparing returns this year. Because of all the changes that they have to incorporate into the forms. And it's kind of funny because the IRS computer system is so antiquated. They used to do it in modules, so you get an IRS change and an audit, well then they plug it into their program, and with all the phase outs and all this, they do one form at a time and they kind of add them all together. Well, you can't do that now. You gotta, because one form feeds into another form, and it's just a mathematical equation now. And I always have to recompute their changes because they're never right on what they tell you you have to owe when they do an audit anymore. They just make mistakes.
Have you ever been in a situation, and how often, where a client brings everything in and you know he's cheating?
Not if they brought it in with backup, but if they're writing down, I got people that put down, and I get this question every year. Well, what did I put down last year? That's the question they ask.
Mileage, mostly mileage.
Yeah. Some of the expenses are like, okay, can you come up with a different number than $1,000 on every expense, or
So
$2,000
Really
on this
right,
one?
$999.
Oh, it's amazing. It's kind of like you go, oh my God, I hope you have backup for all this, because
Yeah. But a big plug for Matt and Gordon Stockman-Wall, and that is when you send the form to me as a client, you show what I paid last year and what my deductions are.
yeah.
So you do that, and that does help.
It's what we have
guide
an
you.
organizer that a lot of people just forget about what they had last year. And, oh, I got this account at Busey Bank that it's got $100 of interest. Well, if they don't put that on the return, they'll probably get a notice, and then that'll, raise, they'll get all excited about it and think I screwed it up. Well, then we get a transcript from the IRS and see what they got.
And that's all done by computer now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they take in the 1099, and if it doesn't match your return,
Yeah.
it burps out the alert.
Yeah, so there's a lot of those that people miss with income.
I don't know how people do their returns themselves, because it looks so, and it is so complicated, and yet people try to do it, don't
Yeah, this one guy I just got yesterday, he makes a lot of money. He goes, well, I got married in December, but I just filed single last year just to make it easier. I go, you can't file single if you got married. He got married in December, but he just said, I just won't file married last year. So
we didn't move in till January anyway.
Yeah,
So.
that's right.
You didn't consummate that.
My wife didn't make any money, but I go, you're going to save a lot of money if you do file jointly. Oh, that changed his tune right away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to amend his return and file jointly
Yeah.
with his new bride. So even though he just, and people just, when they put it in the computer, let's say they buy TurboTax, and they put in the numbers. Well, I had an auditor one time call me up and say, Matt, would you come over and I won't look at the numbers, a backup, but I just wanted to have his return done properly. Because he did his return on TurboTax, sent it in, and he deducted his interest expense in 5 different places on his tax return. It was on his Schedule C, which is business. He deducted that number on his Schedule E, which is his rental property. He deducted on Schedule A, because that was his home mortgage interest. He deducted it everywhere. And so I got in there and just deducted it on his home and gave him, he owed money. And he got mad at me for doing. I go, it's because you can't deduct something 5 times and not owe money. And it's like, oh God. But she accepted whatever I did. She took it. It looks great. I'm not balking at any of the numbers now. So we didn't have to prove anything, really.
Yeah. If you had not made those changes or brought to attention that he deducted 5 different places on the application and just ignored it and sent it in, you would have to be, if they did an audit and say, hey, this isn't right, you would be culpable for that. Or liable, would you not, as much as the person?
Yeah, if I did that, that's, you would, there's a lot of hanky-panky going on with different stuff with people that put false numbers on returns, but they're few and far between, but when you do have them, it hits the press and you hear about it, because they get, they usually do more than one at a time. They're usually doing a lot of them. And
if I hit this lottery, when's the drawing? Friday? Tomorrow?
Saturday.
It's like $1 billion. It'll be $1 billion. How should I take that money?
in unmarked bills.
Yes. I would prefer that.
I don't know if the state will pay that.
No, that's one good thing that tax law did change on this gambling. Because let's say you go to the boat and you win $100,000, let's say, and you come in and get your taxes done and say, well, I lost it all. I don't, so you got your little stubs that tells you lost. Yeah, I get those, and a lot of times they come in and they have footprints on them because they just pick them up off the floor.
Yeah, that is funny.
But anyway, so we even it up, 100,000 income, 100,000 loss. Well, now you can only deduct 90% of your winnings. So if you won $1 million, but you spent it all and lost it all, you still have to report $100,000.
Oh wow!
It
changed this year? Wow.
Yeah.
You think Pritchard's going to do that with his $1 million windfall gambling?
Oh, that's right. He made it's $10 million, wasn't it?
Was it
$1
whatever
million?
whatever
Yeah,
it was?
a lot of money,
I'm betting it came from Tony Resco or one of his associates.
Well, if he's an Illinois resident, he's going to have to pay Illinois tax on that because in Illinois you can't deduct your losses. So,
So he gets at both ends then.
yeah, of course he can
goodness.
afford it.
Yeah.
All right, we want to catch you up with the final newscast of the morning, give you all the latest news. Our news this morning is brought to you by Realtor Kathy Reynolds of Brilliant Real Estate. If you're still thinking about buying or selling a new home, check out with Kathy. She's available 24/7 to help you. You can reach Kathy Reynolds of Brilliant Real Estate at 309-696-2162. The number again, 696-2162. Mike has our news.
Thank you, Roger. Over objection from Democrats, House Republicans voted to reopen the government last night. The vote was 222 to 209. 6 Democrats joined the Republicans, while 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats in favor of keeping the government closed. President Trump applauded Republicans for ending the longest shutdown in the country's history. A shutdown that lasted 43 days, thanks to Democrats who demanded certain concessions before they would approve the new spending bill. The 2 Republicans who opposed the reopening of the government were Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. President Trump signed the legislation shortly before 9 p.m. Peoria time. Earlier, the Senate had passed the measure by a vote of 60 to 40. One of the significant races next year is for governor of the state of California. Republican Steve Hilton has announced his support for President Trump's proposal to resume offshore drilling as a way of producing more gas and lower prices. A college professor at the University of Southern California is predicting gas in the state will rise in 2026 to over $8 a gallon. In local news, a second man who was involved in an alleged armed robbery in an invasion of an apartment at the Lexington Hills complex last February has accepted a plea agreement offered by the Peoria County State's Attorney's Office. 25-year-old Anthony Morris admitted guilt to one count of aggravated robbery in exchange for the state dropping a variety of more serious charges. His accomplice in the robbery, Haywood Drummond, also pled guilty early this year and was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Peoria School District Board members this week honored bus driver Carnisha Adams for her quick action rendering aid to a student who suffered a medical emergency during a field trip. School officials presented Adams with the Remarkable Spirit Award in recognition of her calm and professional response under pressure, alerting medical personnel for transport of the student to a local hospital for treatment. And finally, they had a ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday in the 800 block of South Adams Street for the new Adams Street Center, owned by Baldovan Development Group. The center includes newly renovated apartments and commercial spaces in a building that has a history dating back to 1914. Located near Peoria Chiefs Field, it's part of the Warehouse District. And Roger, that's it for news at the bottom of the hour.
All right, now a check of the weather brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. They've been around since 1993, providing home health care by nurses, therapists, and home care assistants. They're locally owned and operated. Spoon River Home Health, available at, here's the number, 309-245-0723. The number again, 245-0723.
Roger, sunny and pleasant today, high 61. Tonight, clear and 44. Beautiful day to fly. Tomorrow, sunny and warm, high 70. Saturday, sunny and windy, high 71. Currently, we're about 34-ish at the wazoo.
And there you have it, news and weather at the bottom of the hour. We're talking with Matt Wall, CPA with Gordon Stockman Wall. Our good friend Dick Crain flew in from Jacksonville, Florida. I almost said Jacksonville, Illinois, but I don't even know if Jacksonville,
short trip,
Illinois has an airport for that matter. What was your favorite airport that you enjoyed landing in and taking off from?
Home.
Home. Yeah, in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. Once I'm home, that's it. Because all the runways are the same everywhere you go.
Oh, I've seen that one on the internet that it comes right over a beach and you got to bank around and I can't remember where it was.
Well, San Francisco, you land coming in over water, don't you?
Over water there, and then, Reagan is a lot of fun to go into when it's nice and clear because you come down the river and you have to avoid the area around the White House and the Capitol building. So you come down the river and you have to turn and you're down low, and it kind of was a little fun. It kind of broke up the monotony a little bit.
Fun.
Yeah.
These guys look at fun a lot differently than me.
Yeah. They're having fun. In the meantime, people in the plane are hanging on to their arm
I'm ready to pass out. This guy's having
Well, that's
fun.
what happens. That's what happens with my first officer when I'm flying. I look at him.
Did you just do that?
Yeah.
Right out loud. Were you, when you were in the military, and particularly flying over Iraq and some of the Middle Eastern country, did it give you an opportunity to buzz around and kind of have a little fun?
Well, we did surveillance after Desert Storm was over. It was called Provide Comfort for the Kurdish people in northern Iraq. So we did a lot of just basically making our presence known so that we could get those people help and get them out of there if we had to do that, because they were persecuted by whatever Muslim religion. It was Sunni and Shiite, and everybody hated everybody. And our job was to just be a presence to let them know that we're there, we're watching. So we got to do a lot of low levels over in northern Iraq. And one of the places,
buzzed some villages?
Well, I wouldn't say buzzed, but we were providing that support. And we actually flew over the Saddam Hussein's training, Olympic training facility in northern Iraq, and they had the Olympic rings and the 5 rings intertwined. And I mean, there was some beautiful land over there. Unfortunately, not anywhere near as developed as America. But then again, nobody in the world is. So, some of it comes close. Like you look at Dubai or Abu Dhabi, they have a lot of money, and they've built massive skylines in those countries, but no matter what country you go into, the first thing you think of, it's not America,
Yeah.
wherever that is.
Did you, now you said provide support, did you, I won't say buzz, low level and fire your guns? Maybe take out a tree or
No.
a place that changes.
Actually, we did it
24-hour oil change place.
No, IRS agents. That's what
Now you can't convince me that you didn't have a little fun with your guns.
well, we did a lot of training. And
No, I don't I mean, when you were flying military missions, and maybe where you went, you dropped bombs every now and then?
all the time.
Oh, okay, it wasn't enough. But if you didn't
Did you go to guns?
go to a
No.
particular mission, and you didn't return with the munitions, you dumped them somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we did, and but that was very few and far between, and that could have been based on whatever intelligence they got, and we were always updated on that. Because you don't want to put yourself in somebody else's weapon envelope. So we had.
What's that mean?
Means you don't want to get your
killed.
blood shot. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
You don't want to
die today.
You don't want to have to use that ejection
Listen,
seat.
every morning I'm in a different envelope
Yeah.
on the show.
But they had what's called ROE, rules of engagement, that we were briefed on and knew
Oh, I
before
see.
we ever went to do the mission. So if that wasn't part of the mission, you weren't, you had leeway to make decisions, but you were going to have to answer for your actions later on. We did have one guy that we had on the missiles that we had were AIM-7s, which were radar-guided missiles, Sparrow. And then we had on the wingtips the heat-seeking missiles, which are Sidewinders. And one of the guys got this cockamamie idea that he was going to fire a heat-seeking missile at a truck convoy on the ground, which wasn't really a good idea. And he had to answer for that when he got back. But
did he take care of the convoy?
I don't believe so. I don't think there was enough heat source for that
From the
Sidewinder.
truck.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
would keep that Sidewinder from seeking heat from your jet or the jets in your squadron?
Well, it's a missile, so it's going to go two
So
or three
it
times
can't
the
turn
speed
around
of
and
sound.
come
Yeah.
back. Oh, okay.
And our heat source would be behind us. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
In the F-18, you always had a guy with you, right?
No, it's single seat.
Oh, a single seater.
Yeah.
So they do make a dual seat F-18.
They do for training, and then the Marines have reconnaissance F-18. So
yeah, you're thinking about the plane you ride at the carnival.
Well, I was, but I thought you. No.
that's actually where I got
One
my
from the
training.
movie.
But yeah, you trained at
I was
mid-level
thinking of the
Carnival
movie,
Incorporated for
what's the
that
movie
matter.
called?
Top Gun?
The Right Stuff, or Top.
Yeah, well, Top Gun, they were flying F-14s. With Tomcats had
Oh, those were
a weapons
14s.
officer. Yeah,
Okay.
they had a pilot and a weapons officer.
In the first Top Gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
F-14.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
yeah. And I want you folks to know this guy almost became a Blue Angel, didn't you?
I don't know how close, but I was a finalist in 19.
Well, that's close.
Yeah.
Really?
Closer
But,
than
for
the
the
guy
Blue
you're
Angels?
sitting next to.
There were 9 of us.
Well, I saw the Blue Man Group one time.
Yeah, well,
Is
that's
that a
kind of me
different-
too, But that's about as close as I got. But there were 9 of us that were finalists, and I
Wow,
take great
yeah.
pride in the fact I was one of the 7 that didn't make it. So,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that would have been cool.
oh, I mean, it was, it would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a great tour of
yeah.
duty. But it worked out because I ended up having a great airline career, and that
What airline were you with?
Southwest.
Southwest. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for your service, no question about that, Dick Crain. And when you got into the commercial end of things, was it somewhat boring compared to flying, what was it, F-18?
They didn't go as fast, did they?
What,
They didn't.
F-18s?
Yeah, I always said it's like doing 3rd grade over again after you have your PhD.
I get the picture.
Yeah. But it's funny because I had this question many times during my career, like, aren't you nervous about all those people in the back? And I never once thought about all those people in the back because I would tell them, if I take care of me, you're going to be
You're
in
going to
good
be
shape.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Matt, you had
Yeah, I was just Roger. I like to listen to podcasts, and I was tuned into one on the bombing of Japan after World War II, when you ended the World War II, and I found out, and the bombing at Nagasaki, that was almost a total cluster, because it was late. They missed the target by 3/4 of a mile. And that had a different pilot than the one that flew into Hiroshima. It was very interesting about how that one almost didn't go right. It was,
Really?
and they almost ran out of gas too, to boot. And I know you guys are probably up on that, but it was very interesting how that one didn't quite go as good as the first one over Hiroshima.
Well, as bad as it may have been, it brought an end to the hostilities. The big, I don't know whether it covered it or not, but Truman was opposed. He wanted to use the second one, and some of his advisors said, no, you need to save that for backup. And he insisted that they quickly use the second one, and I think history proved his decision was right.
It was a very interesting podcast.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel, as a result of watching that, you're better informed about history and
I
the war?
try to get another one is I listen to one on the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy a lot, just to get what happened, what's the conspiracy, and it's amazing how it was done so quickly that they didn't take their time in doing any of it.
Yeah.
And it never proved anything that happened.
You really changed, because the last time I talked to you about your viewing habits, you were watching SpongeBob. So I'm glad to see you.
I turn on Fox News, and that's when SpongeBob comes on for the Congress.
Depending on the topics, I find SpongeBob much more informative in certain areas of information.
Oh my God! Some of these Congress people, I just start laughing at some of them.
We need more Patrick Stars and fewer Ocasio. What's her name?
Yeah, but you got to give credit where credit is due. SpongeBob was fun, but Jasmine Crockett is more fun to watch.
Well,
I mean, she's dumber than wallpaper. We'll be right back after our pet tip of the day.
Today's Pet Tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. When you are shopping for a new pet and have chosen to make the responsible choice of adopting from a rescue, make sure that you are going through a respectable, well-known rescue group. It is very sad to say, but there are a lot of disreputable groups or individuals playing on your sympathies. So how do you find a legitimate rescue? Check with your state's listing of ratings for 501c3 organizations. This listing will tell you how long they've been in business and what percentage of their money goes for pets versus salaries and facilities, as reported to the IRS in their latest 990. It's an impartial determination. The other thing to look for is if this site or rescue group only adopts out a certain type of animal that could be called a designer breed. These are often puppy mills masquerading as rescues. You need to research these fully. Now, that's not to say that a Schnauzer or Pit Bull rescue group is not legit. Those are specific breeds. What I'm talking about is a group that has dogs they call cute names like Bassadors or Chihuahuas or Poodles mixed with some other breed, and these are the only breeds they offer. That's your red flag to check further. Being a responsible pet owner starts before you even purchase your pet. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
All right, thank you, Louis Linder. And checking the weather, what's it going to be like today?
Beautiful day. 61 degrees, sunny, pleasant tonight. 44 tomorrow. Sunny, warm, high in the 70s. Just beautiful.
And currently the temperature?
I'm going to say 34-ish.
34 sounds good to me. All right, here's our question of the day. Got a lot of brain matter in the room, so don't embarrass ourselves. On this day, November 13th, 1942, something depressing, bad took place. What was it?
Oh, I know what it was.
42.
42, it was the Dunkirk evacuation of British and French soldiers from the coast of France back to England.
I'm absolutely amazed that you're wrong.
Well, I'm wrong?
Yes.
Did you just make all that up? Because, wow, that was
impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
very impressive.
I think that's a better answer than the one that we'll eventually give. But I will the reason I said you will get this, and I put a lot of pressure on you, because it involves something dealing with water and the Navy.
Was that when the Navy first got in the water?
No.
Oh, okay.
A submarine?
No, nothing to do with submarine.
Oh, okay.
Geez.
Yeah, Dunkirk was in May. Okay, I was wrong there.
You notice
It's a
Matt
big answer,
and
though. What a
Dick
great
are
answer.
being quiet, so but
Yeah, you gotta help us
both
out
you
here,
guys
Those
are welcome to ask questions for more clues.
Well, I think there's an old saying that says it's better to
Yes.
keep your mouth shut and let people think you're an idiot instead of opening your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty well describes this show.
Yeah, that's true.
That's our tagline.
If it weren't for the stuff that came out of our mouths that was wrong, we'd never have anything to say.
I think.
Oh, boy.
I
thought
think
this was gonna be
was
easy.
It is easy. Wait.
Well, when you've got the answer, it's easy.
Well, that's why it's easy.
Yeah.
I think they made a movie of this tragedy.
In 44.
In 42, did you say?
Yes.
Is it Dieppe?
What?
The what?
The attempted amphibious landing at Dieppe, France?
No.
No, okay. That was the only other disaster I'm thinking of right now.
Who's all involved in it? The U.S.?
Yes.
And is another country involved?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Germany?
No.
Russia?
No.
I need a globe from here.
Okay.
It was a disaster.
Well, think about 1942. What was going on?
Bataan Death March.
Well, so you're in the right.
Oh.
You're right in the right theater.
Okay, so
But remember, it involved water, and so the Navy.
so it's
The attack on Pearl Harbor.
no
That was in 41, right?
41, right?
41.
No, 42.
So it's a year
is,
after Pearl Harbor.
I'll help you out. Some people were killed.
There was a lot of that going on in
Yes,
1942.
that's true.
I'm gonna say the Navy ran into a typhoon.
Did we drop
No.
the nukes at
It
that time?
involved 5 people.
5 people. Well, that leaves out the Three Stooges.
That's a good one.
Good math. Good math.
Yeah, here today.
40 a year
Okay.
after Pearl Harbor, and it involved the Navy.
Yeah, and it involved a
5 people.
the name of the 5 is a familiar name in Peoria, particularly in the bar business.
Sullivan?
Oh, the Sullivan. It was the sinking of. Oh, yeah. The 5 Sullivan brothers died.
That's exactly right. And what was
And I can't think of the name of the battle.
the USS Juno? They were,
I don't know. Juno?
That's what I'm doing. George, Francis, Joseph, Madison, and Albert Sullivan, 5 brothers, died after a Japanese torpedo sunk the USS Juno
Yeah.
off of what island?
Juno.
In the Solomon Islands. It was in the Solomon Islands, but
Okay.
what was the famous battle?
I don't have a clue.
It starts with the letter G. Well known in World War II.
Guadalcanal.
That was it, correct. In the Pacific. Due to the security concerns, the U.S. military did not immediately alert the public of the sinking. The Sullivan family questioned their son's safety after letters stopped arriving, and it wasn't until January 1943 that the military confirmed their deaths. Survivors of the disaster said that Madison, Joseph, and Francis died instantly from the explosion. While floating in the water, Albert drowned. George survived several days, but eventually suffered from delirium and also drowned. Before the tragedy, the U.S. Navy had a policy to separate siblings in wartime to avoid this kind of circumstance, but the policy was not strictly managed or enforced. In response to the loss, U.S. Navy leadership strengthened the policy to protect families from similar mass losses.
Yeah, they made a movie about that.
That's what I thought
Right.
they did.
The O'Neill.
But it isn't mentioned in this, which I think is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
The Navy eventually named a ship
That is correct.
after the Sullivans.
Very good.
Oh, really?
The USS Sullivan.
Yeah, it was in Jackson.
It was a Navy destroyer.
it was in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
where
was-
Its
port
home
is in.
port is-
Really, it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, still is. Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Do they have tours? People are able to come on it, and
You know, every
tour-
ship does out there.
Yeah.
They have, back there are no carriers stationed there now.
Right.
Just because of the logistics of the larger carriers, and now they're all
They're-
nukes.
Right.
So
Right.
they don't have them, but there were always time for people to get tours and stuff when it was obviously shore duty, which means it's in port for the
Right.
biggest majority of the time, and they set those up.
Yeah, it was pretty common in Mayport. When I was there, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the FDR carrier was home ported there. He used to call it the Fruitaroo.
The what?
The Fruitaroo was the nickname, one of the informal nicknames of the ship. The sailors that served on it said the FDR stood for effed up, dirty, and rusty.
You know, it's funny. The first cruise I ever made when I was flying in the Navy was on the USS Coral Sea,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
a very old aircraft carrier, and we always said the only running water that it had on that ship was what backed up out of the toilet.
That I wouldn't have told.
Yeah.
I think I would have passed. By the way, Dr. Sidler, if you're wondering what happened, he just got tired of the soap.
He said,
Yeah,
"I'm
he
out
said,
of here.
I'm out of here
I'm
for that
gone."
matter. No, he had a 9 o'clock appointment. So if you're wondering, he did not get caught in the backup in the men's room.
Yes.
At one time or another for that matter. Any other final thoughts on this day? We just had Veterans Day, and thank you for participating in it. I wonder, do we have enough time, because you have a personal story about the guy who I think they made a movie about, who went missing. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah, my buddy Scott Spiker, who
Yes,
got shot
that's
down.
the story.
Yeah, I mean, he paid the
Ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah, he did. And
Well, what exactly happened to him?
well, he was on a mission, harm timeline, and I won't get into the specifics, and a lot of that's classified, but he had a very strict timeline that he had to comply with, because then there were other airplanes coming behind him to, attack missile sites and chemical storage weapons and facilities, and he saw a MiG-25 over his head on his the little box that we have in the airplane. It tells you what the other airplane is. It breaks out what that is. It tells you if it's an enemy or not. But he couldn't leave his harm timeline, and that guy rolled in behind him and shot him down with air-to-air. His AA-6 was the missile that, and they weren't sure if he was prisoner of war, if he was able to eject safely. But then they determined that he was probably killed in that. But it took several years to get that answer.
Yeah. Didn't they do a movie about that or similar to it?
I don't believe there's been one.
Because there's one movie that I remember, he was shot down and the Russians or the enemy was trying to find him, and then they eventually rescued him. And I don't know whether that was a spin-off from the incident that you knew.
Yeah, I don't believe so. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that.
I think that movie may have involved Croatia, the operations we were doing.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that was he was shot down. He was taken POW for a short time.
Yeah.
They did do a movie on that. He was a Air Force F-16 guy, I think. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that should wrap things up this morning. Dick Crain, thanks for coming in. God bless you for your service to our country. Matt Wall, thanks for coming in and let us all know that we can be late filing because of the 43-day shutdown of the government. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Have a great day. Remember, God loves you, and so do we.
You're tired and weak, and we will make them strong. Bring us your far-run songs, and we will sing along. Leave us your broken dreams, we'll give them time to mend. There's still a lot of love living in the promised land, living in the promised land. Our dreams are made of steel, the prayer of every man is to know how freedom feels. There is a winding road across the shifting sand, and room for everyone living in the promised land.